Chapter 621. And Sima Yue kept them back into the spirit pagoda. Little Spirit would heal them when they returned. Looking at the tribulation clouds, she guessed that there should be 49 bolts of lightning this time. 46 bolts had already passed, and she could only rely on herself to deal with the remaining 3. Although she was now covered in wounds. Try your best to absorb the remaining lightning. I will protect your heart meridian and spirit pool. Just when she thought she was going to die here, Qian's voice sounded in her mind. Sima Yue did not understand how to absorb the remaining lightning. If that was the case, she would have to use the remaining spiritual energy to control and guide the lightning element. She could no longer protect her body, but since Qian said so, she could only do so. She believed that he would not harm her. Thus, she withdrew the spiritual energy covering her body. At the same time, she felt her heart and dantian being gently wrapped by crimson flames. She retracted her spiritual energy. The group of people in the sea became anxious. How could she retract her spiritual energy? The remaining lightning energy is even stronger. If she doesn't resist, I'm afraid she'll be struck to pieces. Wu Laxiu said anxiously. Could it be that she wants to abandon her physical body and only protect her heart and dantian? Wu Lali guessed. No. Shui Qingman said, she should have another contracted beast, and it should be a very powerful contracted beast. I can feel a surge of energy emanating from her body. It must be that energy protecting her heart. Yeah, I feel it too. Wu Lamai and Shui Qingman looked at each other. They could feel that the aura wasn't any weaker than theirs. They wondered what other contracted beasts she had. Could it be one of those lost mythical beasts? The lightning struck Sima Yue's body. She felt an unprecedented pain in her body. All of her meridians were tortured by the electric current. It was so painful that she almost fainted. The pain tore at her divine sense, causing her consciousness to gradually blur. Hurry up and absorb it. Qian's voice pulled her back from the chaos. I can't faint. If I faint, I don't know if I can hold on. She clenched her teeth and endured the pain to control the electric current in her body. She used her spiritual power and divine sense to capture the chaotic lightning in her body. Suddenly, she found that this lightning was somewhat different from before. There was actually a little purple in the silver white. The people in the sea were stunned when the lightning struck her. But when they saw that she was actually absorbing the lightning, they felt that she was really crazy. With such an abnormal lightning tribulation, the following lightning tribulation will definitely be different. Shui Qingman understood Sima Yue's actions, but her heart ached for her. She was just a little girl in her 20s. Why did she have to work so hard to improve her strength? Seeing her like this, even number 3 and number 4, who had some opinions about her, were moved. They should be proud to have such a little sister. Before Sima Yue could finish absorbing the energy from the previous one, the second bolt of lightning struck her. She felt as though she was burnt from the inside out, and even her bones were melted by the electricity. If it wasn't for Qi Yan protecting her internal organs, she was afraid that she would have been a cooked corpse. Absorb. Other than absorbing, she had no other choice. She only hoped that the lightning she absorbed would be of some use. She didn't want to suffer in vain. When the last bolt of lightning struck, she only felt that she couldn't even control her divine sense. Her hands and feet were already deformed, and her body was burnt black. She looked extremely scary. Fortunately, after the lightning struck, the lightning tribulation cloud slowly dispersed. Sima Yue felt as though she saw a proud doll floating away. Yue. Shui Qingman saw that the lightning tribulation had passed. She came out from the sea and quickly flew towards Sima Yue. She flew to Sima Yue's side. Seeing her current state, her eyes were filled with tears. She took out a coat and covered her body. She asked, Yue, how are you? Sima Yue saw the worry in her eyes. She wanted to tell her that she was fine, that she was still alive. However, she didn't have the energy to speak now. All her energy was used to absorb the remaining lightning. Her body was not under her control now. She couldn't even blink. Although her eyes were open, she couldn't express anything. Wu Lamai brought his sons over. Seeing the burnt Sima Yue, they didn't laugh at her. Today, she had already impressed them deeply. Mother, is little sister all right? She's still alive, Shui Qing Man said. As long as she's still alive. As long as she was alive, no matter what method they used, they would be able to cure her. Let's bring her back first, someone suggested. It's best not to. Previously, Yue was struck by lightning when she was refining the small elemental pill for Mother. At that time, she told us not to touch her. At that time, she said that she would be fine after she finished absorbing the lightning. Wu Lali said. Then let's just let her lie here. You guys set up a tent for her to prevent her from being exposed to the wind and sun. Shui Qing Man instructed her children. Wu Lali and the rest either stayed in an inn, or went straight to camp. They really didn't know how to set up a tent. Furthermore, they didn't have tents that humans liked. Why don't we go to the island and get some branches and leaves to set up a tent for her? Wu Labo suggested. That's the only way. Hence, the few of them ran to the depths of the island to look for large trees. They chopped down branches and used them to build a frame. Then they placed the branches with leaves on top of it. After a few people's hard work, they finally managed to set up the tent after an hour of hard work. Although Sima Yue was immersed in her own world, she was still aware of what was happening in the outside world. Thinking about how the usually high and mighty prince was now setting up a tent for her, she wanted to laugh. Unfortunately, she couldn't laugh now because all the muscles on her face were gone. She really didn't dare to imagine how she looked like now. She might even vomit when she saw it. King, there was such a huge commotion just now. I'm sure many people were alerted. You should bring the children back to settle things first. Shui Qing Man said. I'll stay here and watch over her. Wu Lamai also knew that everyone in the clan was still in a state of panic. The neighbors might even send people over to ask about the situation. It was best for him and his second brother to go back and take care of the situation. All right then, I'll go back with them first. You can bring her back when she can move. Lear will stay behind to accompany you. Wu Lamai said. Wu Lali was the strongest among the brothers. He felt assured to leave him behind. Mother, let me go with you. Wu Laxiu pulled Shui Qing Man's hand and said. I want to accompany little sister too. Chapter 622. Wu Lamai brought his sons and left, leaving behind Shui Qing Man, Wu Lali and Wu Laxiu. Wu Laxiu ran to Sima Yoyue's side and reached out to poke Sima Yoyue's face. Little sister, you look so ugly now. If I didn't see you like this, I wouldn't believe that you were so beautiful before. How dare he call her ugly? Sima Yue wanted to glare at him, but her eyes refused to move. All she could see was the ceiling of the shed. She would remember this grudge. He dared to say that she was ugly. When she recovered, she would definitely teach this fellow a lesson. Brother 9, right? Humph. When the time comes, I'll let you return to one. Yue likes to hold grudges. If you call her ugly now, she might ignore you in the future. Wu Lali said with his arms crossed in front of his chest. Ah, it can't be? Wu Laxiu stretched forth a hand to poke Sima Yu's face, saying bitterly, Little sister, although you're very ugly now, I don't despise you. Look, I'm still accompanying you. You can't just ignore me. Sima Yue rolled her eyes in her heart. Was this guy the funniest because he was the youngest? She didn't want to pay attention to this guy. After making sure that she was safe, she devoted herself to digesting today's feast. While she was absorbing the purple lightning, her body was also rapidly repairing itself. In addition to the pills she had taken before, she was able to control her body within a day. She found that the stronger she was, the weaker the seal on her godly devil body would be, and the faster her body would recover. The weaker the seal, the greater the possibility of her body exploding. Her divine sense had been wandering around in her body, observing her body. She found that there was indeed a trace of the Violet Water tribe's bloodline in her body. Because of this, her reconstructed body was even stronger than the average spirit beast. Mother, why do I feel that the speed at which her body is recovering is a little strange? Wu Laxiu poked Sima Yue every now and then, and realized that her shriveled and burnt body was recovering rapidly. Even her burnt hair was growing back. Maybe her physique is special. Wu Lali said. Don't humans have many rare physiques? It's possible. Wu Laxiao nodded. But Lil Sis's recovery ability is too strong. She's even stronger than us. Shui Qingman looked at Sima Yoyue's closed eyes and said, "This child has a lot of secrets. If she's willing to tell us, then she'll tell us. If she's not willing to, then you're not allowed to force her, understand?" "I understand, Mother Empress." Wu Laxiao understood that she was talking to him. A few days later, Sima Yue was finally able to move. When she opened her eyes, the first thing she said to Wu Laxiao was, "I'm so ugly, don't talk to me." Wu Laxiao, who was supporting Yue, froze. Then he smiled at Yue and said, "Little sister, you're so beautiful. Who would dare to say you're ugly? Ninth brother will help you take care of him." Pfft. Sima Yue was amused by him. "Are you sure that person isn't you? How could it be me? I've always thought that Lil Sis is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. Why would I say that you're ugly?" Wu Laxiao said casually. "Xiao, Yue can't walk by herself yet. You should carry her back," Shui Qingman said. Ah. Wu Laxiao was a little unwilling. He was from the noble Violet Water tribe, and had the bloodline of the ancient divine dragon. How could he carry someone back casually, even though this person was his little sister that he really liked? "I know ninth brother thinks that I'm ugly." Sima Yue pouted. When Wu Laxiao saw Sima Yue's expression, he knew that she was definitely faking it. However, his heart softened. "I'll carry her, okay?" "Thank you, ninth brother." Sima Yue immediately smiled like a flower. In the end, Wu Laxiao carried Sima Yue on his back and directly sent her to her room. He then carefully placed her on the bed. "Godmother, I'm fine now. These injuries will heal in a few days. You haven't rested for a long time. If you tire yourself out, Godfather's heart will ache." Sima Yue said with a smile. "Mother, we'll take care of Yue. You should go back and rest first." Wu Lali said. "All right, Yue. I'll come and see you later." Shui Qingman said to Sima Yue, "Godmother, take care." Sima Yue smiled as she watched Shui Qingman leave. She then said to the other two, "Big brother, ninth brother, you guys should go back and rest too. It's okay. We're not tired. We want to take good care of you," Wu Laxiao said. Sima Yue glared at him. Now that her eyes were hers, she could glare at whoever she wanted. "Ninth brother, I'm a girl. I'll feel uncomfortable if you stay in the house," Sima Yue said. "All right then. We'll go back first," Wu Lali said as he pulled Wu Laxiao, who still didn't want to leave, out. Sima Yue waited for them to leave before letting out a long sigh. She swung her arms and kicked her legs. Although she was still a little numb, it was already much better than she expected. In order to not arouse their suspicions, she hadn't moved her limbs for the past few days. Now she was finally free. However, what she didn't know was that they already knew that her body was different from normal humans. She laid on the bed and checked her current strength. She was a high-level divine overlord. She was only a step away from divine emperor. She was very happy that she had risen an entire level. She was even more grateful towards Wu Lamai. If he hadn't given her his essence blood, it would have been impossible for her to reach her current level. Previously, they thought that she couldn't sense what was going on in the outside world because she didn't react no matter what they said. That was why they once discussed Wu Lamai giving her his essence blood. That was when she realized that Wu Lamai giving her his essence blood would harm his body. If he wasn't careful, it could even cause his strength to regress. However, he still gave it to her without hesitation. Although a large part of it was because he didn't agree with Shui Qingman using his essence blood to increase her strength. "I'm already close to the barrier of Divine Emperor. If I have enough strength, I should be able to advance," she muttered to herself. "However, my strength has only increased by so much. I'm not in a hurry to advance to Divine Emperor." Although the lightning tribulation this time was powerful, it also stabilized our sudden increase in strength. I didn't have any problems with my foundation. Godfather gave me his essence blood. My body looks quite weak now. I'll wait for my body to recover in 2 days. Then, I'll see if I can make up for it. When she released her divine sense into her dantian, She realized that the pool of lightning attribute spiritual energy was different. It had turned light purple. She remembered that Qi Yan had asked her to absorb it. However, he didn't say what it was for. Qi Yan, why did you want me to absorb the lightning? She asked straightforwardly. Chapter 6:23. But her question didn't get an immediate answer from Qi Yan. After a while he said faintly, top-grade purple heavenly lightning doesn't appear all the time. If you absorb it, the damage caused to your body by the lightning tribulation will be greatly reduced. You don't have to worry about ordinary lightning tribulations at all. They're just sending you lightning elements. Upon hearing this, Sima Yu's eyes widened and her mouth opened so wide that an egg could be stuffed into it. What is the purple extreme heavenly thunder? That is one of the rarer lightning tribulations. Now that you have purple top-grade sky lightning in your body, if you cultivate well, you can trigger the sky lightning on your own in the future. And you don't need to wait until you advance. Crimson Flame said. Are you saying that I'll attract a lightning tribulation to strike me? Sima Yue pursed her lips. She was asking for it. Lightning can temper your body, and it can complement your current body refining method. Qi Yan said. Moreover, in the future, if you encounter someone you don't like and can't beat. Red Flame didn't finish his sentence, but Sima Yue understood what he meant. In the future, if he was immune to lightning, he could attract a lightning tribulation to refine his body. If he was in trouble, he could attract a lightning tribulation to kill his opponent. In any case, he was going through the tribulation himself. If others were around, they would also suffer and be struck by the lightning tribulation. When she found out that the top-grade purple lightning had such an effect, she laughed so hard that she almost rolled over on her bed. In the past, he hated the lightning tribulation a little, but he didn't expect it to have such benefits. This feeling was really amazing. Qi Yan, in the past, there was always a lightning tribulation. Why is it different this time? Why did you attract the purple thunder? She only remembered to ask this after she had laughed enough. It's probably because you leveled up a lot this time. Crimson Flame wasn't sure either. The appearance of the purple heavenly lightning is also coincidental. It doesn't happen just because you leveled up a lot. At first I didn't know either. I only realized it when the last 3 bolts of lightning appeared. So it's because of my good character, Sima Yue said narcissistically. However, Qi Yan, is this purple top-grade heavenly lightning very harmful to you? You don't even have the energy to talk. While she was recuperating, Qi Yan didn't speak. He seemed to be in a deep sleep, and only woke up today. To protect your body from the purple extreme heavenly lightning, it did consume quite a bit of strength. Crimson Flame said, but I've already eaten a golden snake fruit. I've almost recovered, but I'm still a little tired. I'll be fine after some rest. Sima Yue was silent for a while before she said in a low voice, Qi Yan, thank you. She had already faintly felt how strong Qi Yan was, but she didn't expect him to be injured so badly. If it wasn't for him, would he really be able to survive the encounter with the purple lightning? Okay, I'm going to sleep again. Don't wake me up if there's nothing else. Qi Yan felt her gratitude, and the corners of his mouth rose slightly. After a faint response, he stopped talking. Have a good rest, Sima Yue replied. Thinking about Qi Yan's injuries, thinking about how the beasts were seriously injured by the lightning, his heart ached. Yu, our injuries have already healed. Little Roar said from the spirit pagoda. That's right, master. We're all healed. Yaguang said. We can also use this opportunity to consolidate our strength. Chongming said. The beast's consolation made her feel touched. Thank you all. It's good to have you all. It's best to be with you. Little Roar said. I'll have to trouble you all to stay in the spirit pagoda for these few days. When we go back, I'll cook something good for you all, Sima Yue said with a smile. Okay, I haven't eaten Yu's cooking in a long time. When it came to food, Little Roar always rushed to the front. Master, I want to eat barbecued meat, Yaguang said. I'm fine with anything, Chongming said coolly. Sima Yu's smile grew wider. They were a group of considerate beasts. She didn't stay in the room for long before the group of brothers came. Little sister, Let me introduce you. This is third brother. This is fourth brother. This is... Wu Laxiu introduced all the brothers. Thank you, brothers, for coming to see me. Sima Yue laid on the bed and saw the group of men standing in front of her bed. She felt that her fate with brothers was quite good. It was a pity that she didn't have an older sister. How are you now? Wu Labo asked. Much better. I'll be able to get out of bed in a few days. Sima Yue replied. Little sister, you're really amazing. You actually survived that kind of lightning tribulation. Isn't it all thanks to my beasts? She smiled. Since they had all seen her tribulation, they naturally saw her beasts. You have so many contracted beasts. I've never met anyone like you when I was on the continent. How did you get so many contracted beasts? I met some. They were willing to follow me, so slowly there were more. Sima Yue said. Although these beasts were basically swindled by her or Little Roar, in the end, they were still willing to follow her. That was why she ignored the process and went straight to the end. All right, let little sister recuperate here first. We don't want to disturb her here. Wu Lali saw the fatigue on Sima Yue's face and grabbed his brothers and left. Little sister, you should recuperate first. Once you're better, we'll discuss the tribulation. Okay. She looked at Wu Lali gratefully. Although this group of cheap brothers looked pretty good, she had not fully recovered from her injuries and couldn't bear the noise of so many people. Brothers, I wonder how my brothers are doing. Sima Yue looked at the Crystal Palace and missed Sima Yuming and the others. Although she had entered the sect, if she wasn't looking for information about Shimen Feng, she would be running around everywhere. She rarely spent time with them these 2 years. Now that she thought about it, she really missed them. She gave herself a few pills. Adding on the self-healing ability of the Holy Devil physique, she recovered in less than half a month. This speed of recovery made the Violet Water clansmen secretly surprised. During this period of time, her cheap brothers would come to see her from time to time. She slowly became familiar with them after interacting with them. Today, she changed into men's clothes and went to look for Shui Qing Man. She had been here for so long, so it was time to go back. Little sister, why did you change into men's clothes? Wu Laxiu asked curiously when he saw her like this. Sima Yue told them that she had to change into men's clothes. Shui Qing Man used to think that she just liked to dress up as a man, but when she knew that she had no choice, she ordered everyone to call her 10th Highness before she announced to the world that she was a girl. Wu Lali and the others also called her 10th brother. Mother, I've been here for 7 to 8 months. When I first came, I took a year's leave. It's time to go back. Chapter 624. As for her request, Shui Qing Man and the rest were not surprised. They knew that she would definitely request to return after her injuries were healed. After all, she had her own life. If you want to go back, I won't stop you. But if you have time in the future, come and visit Imperial Mother. Do you understand? Shui Qing Man pulled her and reminded her. I will. After living together for a year, Sima Yue also developed feelings for this humble foster mother and treated her as her own family. With a wave of her hand, another pile of pills appeared in front of everyone. Mother, these are the medicinal pills that I have concocted during this period of time. They are similar to the ones I concocted last time, but the effects are better. You're still concocting pills when you're recuperating. Shui Qing Man poked her head. Anyway, this won't affect my recovery. Sima Yue smiled. Her injuries had completely healed a few days ago, but she had delayed telling them because she didn't want to scare them. And these few days, she had used it all to concoct pills. Her strength had increased by a large margin, making it easier for her to refine 7th grade pills. Moreover, the 3rd floor of the Spirit Pagoda had been opened, and there were many high-grade pill recipes and alchemy techniques, as well as some rare and precious herbs. When she went to the 3rd floor for the first time, she was very happy to see those things. Although it was a little different from what she had imagined, those things that appeared were things that she could use and needed. Although the difference between a 7th grade alchemist and an 8th grade alchemist was only 1 grade, it might take many people decades or even hundreds of years to cross this gap. With those precious handbooks, it was only a matter of time for her to understand the points of attention on them. We haven't even used the pills you concocted for us the last time. Now that you've concocted so many pills, I think we probably have the most pills in the entire ocean. Shui Qingman said. She put away the pills, then took out a spatial ring and said, I know you'll go back once you're healed, so I had your brothers prepare some things for you. They've been walking on land all year round, so they know what's useful for you humans. Everything is here. If you need anything in the future, just come back and get it. Or send a message to your brothers to deliver it to you. Sima Yue took the space ring and was so shocked that she almost dropped it. The space ring, which was the size of 2 football fields, was actually stuffed to the brim. The things that were casually thrown into the corner of the space ring were treasures that were worth tens of thousands of crystal stones on the continent. Mother, how can I accept so many things? Shui Qingman saw the shock on Sima Yu's face and said with a smile, These are really useful to you guys. When I saw those guys choosing things, I even scolded them for choosing useless things. However, they said that these things are useful on land, so I got them to pack more for you. Anyway, it's all in the storeroom. It's best if you can use it. The treasure pavilion that I showed you last time was only a small part of it. The things inside are not even 1/10 of the rest. Wu Lali said. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Previously, she had been dazzled by the treasures collected by the Violet Water tribe. She did not expect that those treasures were not even 1/10 of the treasures in other places. It was said that the dragon race liked to collect treasures. It seemed that it was true. You are the princess of the Violet Water tribe. How can you not bring more things with you when you go out? Shui Qingman smiled and stuffed the space ring back into her hand. Say goodbye to your father and I'll get Lear to send you back. Thank you, Mother. I'll go and inform Mother. Sima Yue kept the space ring and smiled as she walked out. Greetings, 10th Highness. The Prime Minister just happened to walk in from outside and met Sima Yue. Prime Minister, walk slowly. Sima Yue supported the Prime Minister and said, Mother and brother are inside. Are you here to look for them? Yes. Then you can go in. Sima Yue let go of him and went to look for Wu Lamai. The Prime Minister looked at Sima Yue's back view and went in with a smile. They never thought that there would be a day where they could be so close to humans. Sima Yue went to look for Wu Lamai. He was discussing something with Wu Lalu. Ever since Shui Qingman recovered, Wu Lamai started to care about the tribe's affairs again. Especially the tribe that hurt Shui Qingman, and the incident where Yue was caught sneaking in when she was advancing. He started to ask about everything. After knowing that Sima Yue was leaving, they stopped what they were doing and said that they were going to send her off. They first went to Shui Qingman's place, and then sent her to the surface of the sea with a group of brothers who came after hearing the news. 10th brother, remember to miss us when you go back. Wu Laxiu said. I will miss all of you. Sima Yue was reluctant to part with Wu Laxiu. He was the closest person to her now. Oh right, I have a friend who said that he came to the 9th star ocean. His name is Third Mo and he looks like this. If you see him in the future and he is in trouble, please help him. After speaking, she took out a portrait and passed it to Wu Laxiu. Your friend. Wu Laxiu took the portrait and looked at it. If we see him, we will help you take care of him. Sima Yue had been here for a year and had never asked for anything from them. Now that she finally asked for one, they were more attentive. Thank you. Sima Yue smiled. Let's go. Wu Lali opened a space tunnel and brought Sima Yue in. Only after the tunnel closed did they reluctantly retract their gazes. All right, if you miss her, you can still visit her in the future. Wu Lamai hugged Shui Qingman's shoulder and comforted her. Who is it? Wu La Lu suddenly shouted and flew into the distance. Wu La Bo and Wu La Air also followed. Not long later, they caught a few half-human half-fish creatures and walked back. It's the eel tribe again. Seems like they have been living too well these few years, and have forgotten their past. Wu Lamai said angrily. Our Violet Water tribe should let those people know who is the boss of the water. Bring them back and interrogate them properly. Yes, father. When the Wu La brothers saw that Wu Lamai had regained his former dominance, They were all overjoyed. In order to cure Shui Qing Man, their tribe did not participate in the matters of the sea. This caused people to gradually forget their past glory, and thought that they were a piece of fat meat that anyone could get a piece of. Now that their father had risen again, it meant that their Violet Water tribe's dominance of the sea was coming back. On the other side, Wu Lali directly sent Sima Yue to Tianfu City, and even sent her to the Sima residence. "Big brother, come in with me," Sima Yue said. "I will let grandfather and the others meet you." Wu Lali did not plan to interact with humans, but she said that it was her grandfather and he should meet him. He nodded and agreed. Sima Yue pushed the door open and entered, but found that the courtyard was abnormally quiet. This caused her to panic. Chapter 625. She ran all the way from the outer court to the inner court, but she didn't see a single person. "Grandpa? Grandpa? Aunt Lon? Aunt Yu? Are you there?" She looked around but didn't see anyone. The uneasiness in her heart continued to grow. Wu Lali pulled her back as she was about to run off to look around. "There's no one in this house. You don't have to look anymore. Why aren't Grandpa and the others here?" Sima Yue said worriedly. "Even if Grandpa goes out, Auntie Lon and Auntie Yu usually won't go out." A situation where there was no one around had never happened before. Could something have happened to them? "Don't worry. Maybe they've gone out," Wu Lali said. "Go look for them in the places they might have gone, or ask others to see if they know where they are." "You're right. I'll ask my brothers. However, they might be in the inner court. I'm not sure if we can see them," Sima Yue said. "Or we can go to Memory Restaurant and ask." Grandfather was in charge now. If something happened to them, Memory Restaurant would know. "Let's go and ask now." Sima Yue pulled Wu Lali and ran outside. Just as they reached the front yard, they saw a group of people coming in. "Grandpa?" She stopped in her tracks and froze on the spot. "Yue? You're back." Fatty Chu walked over and gave her a big bear hug, laughing heartily. "Grandpa, Auntie Lon, are you alright?" Sima Yue blinked her eyes and asked blankly after confirming that it was them. "What can we do?" Sima Lai walked over and pulled Fatty Chu away from her, saying, "When did you come back?" "I just arrived. When I came back and saw that there was no one at home, I thought that something had happened to you. I didn't expect it to be a false alarm," Sima Yue said. "Where did you go? In the past, there was never a time when all of you were away. Today you ran and the others have rested and come out. This is the first time in half a year that everyone has gathered together, so we went to Memory Restaurant for a meal. Ouyang and Beigong have both come, so your Auntie Lon and Auntie Yu naturally went out together," Sima Lai said. "It's good that you're fine," Sima Yue said with a smile. "So all of you have entered the inner court." "That's right, we were so mighty back then. It's a pity you didn't get to see it," Sima Yue said regretfully. "Yue, have you settled your matters?" Sima Yulin saw that Wu Lali had come back with her, and asked worriedly. "This is?" Sima Lai had never seen Wu Lali before, and did not know that he was the one who took Yue away. "Grandfather, let me introduce you. This is my big brother, Wu Lali. He is the great majesty of the Violet Water clan," Sima Yue said. "Big brother, this is my grandfather. This is my big brother, second brother." She introduced the people in the courtyard to Wu Lali one by one. Wu Lali nodded at them. "Yue, didn't he bring you to treat someone's injuries?" "How did he become your big brother?" Fatty Chu asked. "He went to treat my adoptive mother, who is also his mother. After my adoptive mother recovered, she took me in as her adoptive daughter, so he became my big brother," Sima Yue said. "Let's not just stand here. Let's go to the living room to talk." "Okay." Sima Yue told them about what had happened in the Violet Water clan. When they heard that she had been struck by lightning twice, and almost lost her life the last time, the joy of knowing that her strength had increased by leaps and bounds was diluted by a lot. "If there's nothing else, I'll head back first," Wu Lali said. "Big brother, aren't you going to stay here for a few more days?" Sima Yue asked. After Mother recovered, Imperial Father started to pull himself together. A lot of things that he had let go of before should be rebuilt. There are a lot of things to do in the clan. I have to go back. Wu Lali said. Then Big Brother, wait a moment. Sima Yue said. After that, she said to Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei. The two of you, give me all the pills that you've refined for the spirit beasts. Bei Gong Tang and Ouyang Fei guessed that she wanted to give it to Wu Lali for him to bring back, so they took out all the pills that they had refined for the spirit beasts. The two of them added up to a few hundred bottles. Sima Yue counted them and said to Wu Lali, Big Brother, these pills are the same as the ones that I gave you to treat your injuries. Take these back. If you need more pills, get someone to tell me. Little sister doesn't have much other things, but I don't lack pills. You've already given me quite a bit before you left. Wu Lali said. Ninth brother told me the last time that I was almost interrupted by a few people from outside the clan when I was advancing in rank. Luckily, I was protected by a protective array. That sea area belongs to the Violet Water clan. If other sea beasts appeared, it means that someone is secretly sending people to investigate the Violet Water clan. Sima Yue said, if the Violet Water clan fights with other sea beasts in the future, casualties will be unavoidable. These pills will help you a little. Wu Lali didn't think that Sima Yue would be able to see the situation of the Violet Water clan, even though she didn't ask anything in the clan. Since that's the case, I won't be polite, Wu Lali said. If they really fought with other clans in the future, these pills would be more important. There were very few pills that were useful for the spirit beasts. Sima Yue watched as he accepted the pills and said with a smile, these are far worse than the ones you gave me. If you need more in the future, get someone to tell me. I'll say the same thing again. I don't have much, but I have a lot of ingredients to refine pills for you. Refining pills will be very easy. Wu Lali stretched out his hand and rubbed her hair, saying dotingly, got it. If I lack pills in the future, I'll definitely tell you. That's what you said. I said it. Wu Lali said. Do you remember the contact method I gave you? Sima Yue nodded, saying, I remember. Alright, I'm going back. Wu Lali retracted his hand and opened a spatial tunnel to return to the Ninth Star Ocean. Once Wu Lali left, Fatty Chu and the others finally let go and surrounded Sima Yue with questions. Sima Yue called the beasts out, saying, I promised them that I would cook for them. We'll talk about those things later while we eat. Oh, I forgot that you guys already ate. It's okay, we can still eat. Fatty Chu said, no matter how much you cook, we can still eat. That's right. We haven't eaten anything you made in a long time. Sima Lai also joined in. Sima Yue saw them like that and laughed, saying, let's go, we'll have a good meal today. Everyone, tell us what you guys have experienced in the past half a year. She had left for 7 to 8 months. In this period of time, she had experienced a lot. The others had also experienced a lot. Otherwise, they wouldn't have collectively grown stronger. She really wanted to know what kind of place the inner sect was, and what had allowed their strength to grow so quickly. Chapter 626. While they were eating, Fatty Chu gave Sima Yue a vivid description of their assessment, especially the Spirit Master selection. That was an exciting battle, causing her blood to boil as she listened to it. I see that your strength has increased by 1 level. What's going on? She asked curiously. This is the result of cultivating in the cultivation tower of the inner yard. Wei Ziqi said. Every student who enters the inner sect has the right to enter the cultivation pagoda for free. The spiritual energy in the pagoda is even denser than the spirit pagoda, especially the spirit pool in the basement. We soaked in it for a few months and advanced in rank. That's right, other than the spirit pool, we also got a chance to temper our bodies for free. That process made us want to cry for our parents. Fatty Chu said. Body tempering? Sima Yue checked the bodies of Ouyang Fei and the others. Indeed, they were much stronger than before. How did you temper your bodies? I don't know what animal's blood it is, but it smells like blood. We were directly thrown into a pool of blood by the teachers. I don't know what kind of blood it is, but the moment we touched it, we felt as if our bodies were being burned. Sigh, anyway, it was so painful. Fatty Chu complained. Fatty, don't give me that. Out of all of us, You're the happiest one. You're crying out in the blood pool. Bei Gongtang said. I'm happy but it still hurts. Fatty Chu said. Fatty, you're the one with the toughest skin here. If you're complaining in pain, wouldn't the others be even worse? Sima Yue teased. Isn't that so? Someone fainted from the pain. I think it's someone from your alchemy department. Fatty Chu said. It's a pity that you're not here. Otherwise you could experience it with us. Is the blood pool always open? Sima Yue asked. No. Sima Yulin said. This blood pool only opens once every 10 years. It only opens when new students enter the inner sect. The rest of the time it was closed. And it's only for freshmen. In other words, if he missed this opportunity, he would not have another chance in the future. You're already relying on lightning to refine your body. Why are you still thinking about this? Sima Yuran smiled. Hee, that's true. Sima Yue chuckled. After experiencing crimson flames refine her body twice, and being tortured by lightning a few times, her body was already very strong. She was afraid that the average method would be useless. Yu, can you really trigger the lightning tribulation now? Fatty Chu thought of the top-grade purple lightning in her body, and felt that it was unbelievable. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. You don't want to give it a try? No. Fatty Chu hurriedly waved his hands. If his small body was struck by lightning, he would probably turn into ashes. Fifth bro, when do you plan to go to the sect? Sima Yuran asked. After a while I guess. Sima Yue, on, Yue, on Yue on the Sima on Yu. Recently, she had been outside or at the academy. It had been a long time since she had spent time with Sima Lai. Anyway, it's still early for the holidays. I'll stay at home with Grandpa for a while. What do you think, Grandfather? She smiled and asked Sima Lai. Of course, Grandfather is happy that you can stay at home. But Grandfather knows that you're worried about your brother's situation. If you can solve it quickly after entering the inner sect, you should go earlier. Sima Lai said. Anyways, we have a lot of time. It's the same to accompany Grandfather in the future. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. Grandfather's age was nothing in the primordial lands. There was still a long way to go. Then I'll go look for Vice Principal and Teacher Ge tomorrow. Sima Yue said. Oh right, do you know anything about Senior? We don't know anything about him, but we know about another person in the Sage Pavilion. Wei Ziqi said. Oh, Nalan Lan. Sima Yue's hand paused. Then she continued to put the roasted food on the plate and asked. How do you know about her? Last time, the Sage Pavilion held a gathering of holy sons and daughters in Heavenly City. It seemed that all the holy sons and daughters in the outer regions were gathered. At that time, many people came from the inner regions. Nalan Lan was one of them. Bei Gongtang said. You said before what kind of physique she had. It said that people with this kind of physique have good cultivation talent. In a short 10 years, she advanced from a spirit saint to a divine king. It said that she was only a step away from becoming a divine overlord. Fatty Chu said, I really didn't think that someone like her would have this kind of physique. What a waste. When Sima Yue heard about Nalan Lan, she thought about how she had been tricked by her in the Saint City and almost lost her life. At that time, she had taken care of Li Mu and that array master. It was a pity that when she came out from Dragon Reflection Mountain, Nalan Lan had already been brought to the primordial lands. You saw her? Did she see you? She asked. I don't think so. Wei Ziqi said. At that time we were in the private room of Memory Restaurant. When they came in from the main hall, we heard her voice. We went to open a crack and peeked outside. Is she still here? She has already returned to the inner regions. The matter with the Sage Pavilion has already ended a month ago. Sima Yue said. What a pity. Sima Yue said regretfully. If she was here, I could have looked for her to reminisce about the past and tell her about how she tricked me that year. But we're in the same continent, so we'll meet sooner or later. They ate and drank until very late that day. The next morning, Sima Yuming and the others returned to the inner sect. Sima Yue rarely slept in, and went to look for Sima Lai to be lovey-dovey for a while before going to the sect. She first went to look for the vice principal and told him that she was safe before going to look for Gulang. When Gulang saw her appear, he was a little surprised. Then he said happily, "You're finally back. If you didn't come back, that guy would have killed his way to the 9th star ocean." Sima Yue knew that guy was definitely Su Jin. Apart from him, Gulang would not call anyone else that. Didn't he promise me a year's time? Why is he in such a hurry? Sima Yue asked casually. Didn't he hear that the 9th star ocean is not peaceful recently? He's afraid that something will happen to you there. Gulang said. But it seems like he's worried for nothing. Sima Yue smiled but did not speak. When do you plan to go to the inner sect? Gulang asked. In these 2 days. Sima Yue said. There's nothing much to do here. It's good to go to the inner sect earlier. That's fine too. I'll contact him for you. Gulang said. You didn't enter the inner sect with them, so you missed out on a lot of resources. But seeing you like this, you're not worse than those guys. It doesn't matter whether you have those or not. But after a while there will be 3 great meetings. You can participate. 3 great meetings? What 3 great meetings? Chapter 627. The Inner Sect's Ranking Assembly will be held in various forms. The most common one is the Spirit Master Ranking Assembly. Gulang explained. Then what's the use of these 3 meetings? Sima Yue asked. This is linked to future cultivation resources. You should know about the inner courtyard billboard by now, right? Gulang asked. I know. Fatty and the others already told me about it yesterday. Sima Yue said. The cultivation resources of the inner yard depend on one's talent and strength. The better one's talent and strength are, the more cultivation resources one can obtain. Gulang said. Although you've chosen the alchemy department, I know that your main focus is still spiritual energy cultivation. Therefore, you should take as many cultivation resources as you can from the inner court. I understand, Sima Yue said. I will attend the 3 conferences. Go back and make some preparations. I'll contact Old Su. When he comes back, he'll take you to the inner court, Gulang said. Teacher Gu, is Teacher Su very special in the inner court? He actually allowed me to take a break. Sima Yue felt that she could learn more about her future teacher. Don't look at how young he usually pretends to be. He's only a little younger than your master, and he's not much better at alchemy than your master before he was injured. Gulang said. Sima Yue was so surprised that her mouth was slightly agape. That show-off guy was actually similar to her master? Don't be surprised. Although he's old and powerful, he's like a baby who hasn't grown up. He doesn't look like a role model at all. Gulang said. Ahem. Sima Yue wanted to laugh when she heard his description. After interacting with him twice, she also found that Su Jin's temperament was a bit different. He was like a dissolute wastrel, but it wasn't as exaggerated as Gulang said. Is he special in the inner yard? Yes, according to his strength, he can be the dean of the inner courtyard's alchemist department. However, he refused to do it no matter what. He said that if he was allowed to be the dean, he would leave the academy. There's no other way. We can only follow his wishes. Gulang said. Because his alchemy skills are very strong and his personality is perverse, he won't take students he doesn't like and won't attend classes when he doesn't want to. Therefore, Principal Yuan gave him special rights to not be controlled by the alchemy department, and to have priority in choosing students. Therefore, although you also belong to the alchemy department, you can also say that you are not. Sima Yue understood Su Jin's position. Thinking of his personality, she asked, then did he teach many students these years? There are still a few. Gulang said. It's just that the temperament of those seniors of yours, you'll know once you enter the inner court. Sima Yue could already imagine that Su Jin's students might be similar to him. Otherwise, how could they enter his eyes? Teacher Gu, I'll go back first. She stood up and said. All right. That fellow, I'll first see if he's in the inner court. Gulang said. You go back and wait. Okay, thank you, Mr. Gu. She bowed to Gulang before turning to leave. Towards Gulang, she was both respectful and grateful. She had chosen the medical department by herself without a mentor. Gulang could be considered her mentor. Not only did he teach her medical skills, he also helped her find a way to treat her younger brother. His help and influence to her was enormous. After leaving the academy, she returned home and gave a portion of the things she obtained in the Ninth Star Ocean to Sima Lai. These things might only be used to fill the storehouse in the Violet Water clan, but they were very valuable on the land. Sima Yue wanted Sima Lai to change to a bigger courtyard and hire some people to take care of them. However, Sima Lai and the others said that they were already used to this kind of life, and no one would find trouble with them. Besides, with the help of Memory Restaurant and Xianyuan Pavilion, no one in Heavenly Sex City would dare to touch them. Seeing that they insisted, she didn't force them. These few days, Gulang didn't give her any news. It should be because Su Jin hadn't returned. She took this opportunity to relax. Every day, she cooked for Sima Lai and the others, chatted with them, went shopping, and patrolled the Memory Restaurant with them. She didn't think about the pressure now, didn't think about the things she hadn't finished yet, and didn't think about the deep hatred from her past life. Her life was so relaxed that it was like a dream. Unfortunately, this kind of comfortable life didn't last for long as it was cut off by that flashy red. Sima Yue saw Su Jin lazily leaning on the armchair, and Sima Lai beside him. She suppressed the urge to roll her eyes and went up to greet Su Jin. "Teacher Su, why did you come personally?" Su Jin saw that Sima Yue's aura had become much stronger and said with a smile, "Looks like your harvest in the Ninth Star Ocean this time wasn't bad. Are you grateful that I gave you a year of vacation?" "Many thanks for Teacher Su's help," Sima Yue said gratefully. "I went out of town these few days and just came back today. Old Gu told me that you're back, so I came." Su Jin said, "I'm going to the inner sect now. Come with me." "We're leaving now?" Sima Yue stared blankly. She looked at the sky and saw that it was almost evening. "Of course it's now. Don't tell me you want me to stay for dinner?" Su Jin glanced at her. "Yue, since your teacher said to go now, then let's go now," Sima Lai said. "Yes. Then let's go." Sima Yue said to leave and left. Anyway, her things were all in the Spirit Pagoda, so she didn't need to pack anything. Su Jin directly opened a space tunnel and brought her in. Sima Yue only felt like she was traveling in the space for a few minutes. Logically speaking, she shouldn't have reached the outer sect yet. However, when she came out, she was already in a forest. This is the maze forest. If you walk from here, you'll reach the inner sect. I'll wait for you in the inner sect, Su Jin said and disappeared. Sima Yue looked at the dark forest and couldn't help but twitch the corner of her mouth. This guy hurriedly brought her to the inner sect, just to leave her in this damned maze forest in the middle of the night? She looked around and didn't know which direction to go. She simply found a spacious place and started a fire. She called her beasts out to chat and make some food. SSSSSS. A sound came and Little Rock immediately became alert. He wanted to take care of the sneak attacker, but was stopped by Sima Yue. "Let's see what rank it is. If it's not strong, I haven't fought since I advanced." "It's just a third-level sacred beast," Little Rock said. "Then I'll take care of it myself." Sima Yue had just kept Little Rock and the others when she saw a huge python attacking her. Sima Yue leaped away from her original position, and the python crashed into the tree that she was leaning on earlier. Chapter 628. That python's attack failed, so it turned around and attacked her again. Sima Yue dodged in the air. "So ugly, much uglier than my little golden snake," Sima Yue said. The little golden snake was wrapped around the devil snare bracelet. When it heard Sima Yue's words, it nodded cooperatively. It was so ugly, much uglier than itself. Such an ugly person should commit suicide to atone for his sins. "Also, I hate pythons the most," Sima Yue said again, which made the little golden snake's body stiffen, and then it looked at her with grievance. Sima Yue looked at little golden snake's aggrieved expression and reached out to stroke its little head, saying, "Little golden snake is golden snake's snake, not a python, so I don't hate it." The little golden snake stretched out its little head and rubbed against her finger. Only then did it lower its head happily. When the python heard Sima Yue's words, a vicious look flashed across its cold eyes. Its long tail swung towards her in the air. Sima Yue condensed her spiritual energy to counterattack. The two of them were locked in a fierce battle. Sima Yue's combat power was much stronger than it was now, but she had not fully grasped her current strength. She was using the opportunity to slowly familiarize herself with her current strength while fighting the python. The sound of their fight attracted the attention of the people nearby. A group of people were not far away and ran over when they heard the commotion. They happened to see Sima Yue preparing to stab the python with her sword. "Stop! Please show mercy!" Several people shouted at her. At the same time, one of them attacked her. She had no choice but to change her actions and confront that person. Sima Yue exchanged a few blows with that person before landing far away. When she saw the group of people who had just arrived, she asked coldly, "Are these your spiritual beasts?" "No," a woman said. "Could it be that you don't know that spirit beasts are not allowed to be killed in the maze? If you had stabbed down earlier, I'm afraid you would have to face the Academy's punishment." "Is this the Academy's spirit beast?" Sima Yue looked at the python that she had beaten up and asked in astonishment. "You don't know?" The woman who spoke looked at her in surprise. Sima Yue shook her head. "No one told me. Did you come here alone?" Another man walked over and asked. "Sort of," Sima Yue said. "Teacher brought me here and then he left, leaving me here." Which teacher is this? How can he be so bold? You actually don't know that this is the Academy's spirit beast. Are you a new student? The girl who spoke first said. "That's not right. New students should also know the rules." "Rules? What rules?" "He didn't say anything to me. He just said that this is the maze forest, and that I would reach the Academy after passing through here. He told me to pass through here, and that he would wait for me at the Academy," Sima Yue said. "Which teacher brought you here?" "Teacher Su," Sima Yue said. Everyone stared at her with their eyes wide open. "Teacher Su Jin? That's him," Sima Yue said. At the same time, she added a sentence in her heart. "It's that scammer." "You are Sima Yue?" the woman asked. "You know me?" This time, it was Sima Yue's turn to be astonished. "So you are the one who blinded all the teachers during the assessment and applied for a year's leave before entering the inner courtyard. No wonder you don't know about this." The woman smiled and said, "I am Shui Rong, considered your senior. They are also your senior brothers and sisters." Sima Yue. Sima Yue said her name and asked, "What are you all doing? What's up with the spirit beasts in the Academy?" "This is where the Academy usually trains. There are many spirit beasts in this forest. Those who want to improve their abilities can come here to improve their combat experience. But there is a condition: you cannot kill the spirit beasts here. Otherwise, you will be severely punished by the Academy," Shui Rong explained. "That scammer." Sima Yue cursed in her heart. Then she smiled and said, "Thank you all for just now. If it wasn't for you, I would have broken the rules." No wonder this fella attacked without saying anything. It thought that she was here to train. In the end, she almost killed it and prepared to use its flesh to make soup. Thinking of this, she suddenly felt guilty towards this python. She walked over and took out a pill. She opened the python's mouth and fed it. Then she patted its head and said, "I'm sorry, brother." The python was beaten up by her and was paralyzed on the ground. After eating her pill, it felt much better, and its wounds began to heal quickly. At this moment its heart was crumbling. It had heard the conversation between Sima Yue and Shui Rong. It felt that it had met an idiot. Fortunately, these people had saved him. Sima Yue could feel the resentment in its heart. She coughed twice and said, Do you want me to give you 2 more pills?" Hearing her say this, the python's eyes lit up and said, "Are you serious?" "Of course." Sima Yue took out a jade bottle and said, "Here, you can't argue with me about what happened tonight." "All right." The python took the pill and left without hesitation. "Yue, what kind of pill is this?" Shui Rong walked over and asked. "It's a recovery pill for spirit beasts," Sima Yue replied. "You have pills that spirit beasts can eat." Shui Rong was a little surprised. Then she smiled and said, "That's right, you're an alchemist. It's not strange that you have these pills." Rong, since there's nothing else, let's go back to the camp." Ma Bo Jian, the man who stopped Sima Yue, said. Yue, it's very dangerous for you to be here alone. Why don't you come with us? Shuirong said. Is it very dangerous here? Sima Yue asked. There are many spirit beasts here. Some of them are very strong. Shuirong said. Even though the spirit beasts won't kill us, they might cripple us if they can't take it. There have been a few cases where people were crippled or killed in the academy. That's why people from the academy usually don't come here alone. Even though Sima Yue felt that she would be fine, she still accepted Shuirong's invitation and followed them to the camp. Their camp was not far from here. That's why they were able to come over in such a short time. Sima Yue followed them for a while and arrived. Yue, when did you get here? Shuirong asked. Just a while ago. That guy appeared before I even finished cooking. Sima Yue shrugged. You still want to eat? Aren't you a spirit master? A girl looked at Sima Yue as if she was looking at a monster. It's a personal habit. Sima Yue said. I've loved good food since I was young. Even if I don't need to eat now, I'll cook when I have time. How about you guys? How long have you been here? Chapter 629. We've already been here for almost a month. Shuirong said. There's a rule in this maze. We can't leave from where we came from. We are now close to an exit, and we'll be leaving in a few days. There are such rules. Sima Yue felt that there were quite a lot of rules in the inner courtyard. That's right. Perhaps this is to prevent us from going back. Shuirong said. What do you plan to do next? Why don't you come with us? Sure, Sima Yue agreed happily. My teacher didn't say that I can't go with others. Yue, did you really ask for leave and didn't come? A woman in a white fringed dress looked at her curiously. No, this is my first time in the inner yard. Sima Yue said. But I didn't expect to meet such a bad teacher who left me here. He didn't even worry that I would be crippled by the spirit beasts here. Although Teacher Su is a bit unreliable, he probably won't leave you in the lurch. Shuirong said. Even though his students' tempers are a little weird, they are all very powerful. Cough cough, we're talking about alchemy. To be honest, when we first heard that there was a student who applied for a year's leave before entering the inner court, we were curious which teacher taught him. Later on, when we heard that it was Teacher Su, we didn't find it strange anymore. Do you think I'm a weirdo too? Sima Yue said. Shuirong smiled embarrassedly. You don't look strange at all. The woman in white smiled. Furthermore, you're really powerful. That python was a third-level sacred beast, yet you were able to deal with it alone. We can't do it yet. Sima Yue smiled and looked at the silent Mabojian, saying, If I'm not wrong, this should be the Mabojian who is ranked 200 on the billboard. When Shuirong introduced him just now, she only felt that his name sounded familiar. Only now did she remember that Fatty Chu and the others had mentioned this person a few days ago. Yue, you haven't even entered the inner yard, and you're already trying to gain insight? My brothers and a few friends have also entered the inner yard. They mentioned it to me a few days ago when they came back. Sima Yue said. Mabojian looked at Sima Yue and said, You're not weaker than me. When he said this, everyone else was stunned. Bojian, you said that Yue is not weaker than you? The woman in white looked at Mabojian and then looked at Sima Yue, her eyes filled with shock. Mabojian nodded. When he fought with Sima Yue just now, he could clearly feel that she was not weaker than him. She was even a little stronger than him. But wasn't she an alchemist master? The way the others looked at Sima Yue changed. Initially, they thought that she was only good at alchemy, but they didn't expect that she was so strong. However, they subconsciously thought that she relied on alchemy. After all, alchemists didn't lack alchemy, and some alchemy could increase a person's strength. Then Yue, you can participate in the 3 great conventions. You'll definitely get good results. Shuirong said. Yue, do you know about the 3 great conventions? I do. Before I came in, Master Gu told me that he wanted me to participate. But it's up to me whether I want to go or not. I'll decide after I understand the situation in the inner yard. Sima Yue said. If you want to go, we'll go and cheer you on. Shuirong smiled. All right, if I go, I'll definitely tell you guys so that you can cheer me on. Sima Yue smiled and replied. That night, they chatted until late into the night. For the next few days, Sima Yue followed Shui Rong and the others. After a few days of getting along with each other, she found that these people were not bad. It was probably because of the saying that birds of a feather flock together. Later on, they had become good friends. Today, they had just experienced a battle. Ma Bojian and Shui Rong had defeated a third-level sacred beast. However, both of them had suffered some injuries. They took out some pills and ate them. Then, they rested in an empty space. Although they were injured, it did not affect their mood. Shui Rong was still a little excited as she shared her battle experience with everyone. Ha ha ha. I told you that they were the ones fighting. How was it? I wasn't wrong, right? A maniacal laughter came from behind. Sima Yue noticed that Ma Bojian and the others' faces had changed when they heard this voice. Shui Rong stood up and turned to look at the group of people walking over. They had about twice as many people as them. She asked coldly, "What are you doing here?" Shui Rong, "We're already so familiar with each other. What do you think we're doing here?" The person who spoke earlier laughed sinisterly. "Weren't you guys very proud of stepping on us under your feet? Today, we're sincerely here to reconcile with you guys." Hearing his words, Sima Yue's face was filled with confusion. The others' faces turned ugly. "Jia Shan, how do you want to reconcile?" Ma Bojian looked coldly at the leader. "It's very simple. Hand over all the territories that you've snatched from us. Then kneel on the ground and call us Big Brother 100 times. Jia Shan said. "That was our territory in the first place. You guys snatched it from us first. We're just taking it back." Xu Yuanyuan, the girl in white, said. "The things that we've snatched are ours. If you continue to snatch them, wouldn't that be the same as snatching our things?" A man with inverted triangle eyes beside Jia Shan shouted. Xu Yuanyuan was furious. She wanted to rush up and argue with them, but was held back by Shui Rong. "Yuanyuan, don't be rash." Although the others were angry, they still restrained themselves. "Jia Shan, you know that I can't make the decision on my own." Ma Bojian said. "You're the second in command of your group. If you can't make the decision, who else can?" Jia Shan said. "As long as you agree, will the others have any other ideas?" "Even if I agree, the brothers in the group won't agree." "How won't agree?" Ma Bojian said. "As long as you guys agree, we naturally have a way to make them agree." Jia Shan said. "Boss, don't waste your breath on them. If you ask me, just beat them up. Do you think they won't agree?" The inverted triangle eyes said from the side. He looked at Shui Rong with a vicious gaze. Last time, he was beaten to the ground by her and was stepped on by her. Just now, he had heard Shui Rong's spiritual technique and guessed that they were here. Today they had more people and were stronger than the other party. He had to return the humiliation he had suffered back to them. Sima Yu finally understood. This should be a conflict between the two teams in the inner sect. The other party didn't look like a good person at a glance, especially that inverted triangular eye. The way he looked at her had a trace of wretchedness, which made her very uncomfortable. Chapter 630. Shui Rong also felt the gaze of the inverted triangle eyes. She stepped forward and stood in front of Yu Yue. That inverted triangular-eyed guy is very masculine. Many new students have been played by him when they first arrived in the inner courtyard, she whispered to Sima Yue. "Yo, I didn't expect you to have a new member." The inverted triangle eyes laughed. "He's quite handsome. But I heard that your club didn't recruit a single new member this time. Where did this kid come from?" "It's none of your business." Shui Rong glared at him. "Put away your dirty eyes, or I'll blind them for you." "Tisk, Shui Rong, don't tell me you're standing in front of her because I'm not interested in you. I really don't like someone like you. That brat is still more handsome." The inverted triangle eyes said lecherously. "There really is a kid, and he looks very young. I wonder how it'll be like." Someone spoke even more bluntly. "Ha ha ha. Little guy, what are you going to do with this kind of useless society? If you want to join a big society like ours. Only then will you have a way out. What do you think? If you come over now, you can avoid physical pain today." Jia Shan said. He knew that there were a few people in their club who liked to do these things. Since a brother had taken a fancy to her, he would just take her in. Jiashan, take your men and put away that disgusting look. Ma Bojian scolded. Sima Yue came out from behind Shuirong and looked at the person opposite her, saying, "Is killing allowed in the inner courtyard?" "Under normal circumstances, it's not allowed," Shuirong said. "If the outer yard can do it, why can't the inner yard do it?" Sima Yue was confused. "Because those who are able to enter the inner courtyard are all considered to have better talent. It would be a pity if they died," Shuirong explained. "What a pity," Sima Yue said regretfully. "I wanted them to die painlessly, but now it seems that they have to live painfully." Before anyone could react, they saw a figure flash by, followed by a scream that resounded through the forest. Sima Yue was standing at the same spot with a dagger in her hand. The dagger was still dripping with blood. Opposite her, Inverted Triangle Eyes had his hands on his thighs and was curled up on the ground, screaming in pain. Not far away, a piece of meat mixed with the cloth of his trousers was thrown on the ground. Everyone was stunned by this turn of events. She actually, Sima Yue congealed some water to clean the dagger. Then, she took out a handkerchief and wiped the dagger carefully. "I hate it when people look at me with such disgusting eyes. If you're unhappy, your hand will slip." She blew on the dagger and only stopped when she saw that it was really clean. She threw the scarf on the ground and looked at the person on the ground with murderous intent. "You actually crippled him," Jiashan shouted. "Didn't you see it?" Sima Yue said, "My dagger is very fast. If any of you want to try, I don't mind helping you completely. I'll cut off your third leg, so that you won't be affected by your lower body." Seeing her clean actions and cold voice, all the men present subconsciously clamped their legs together. "How dare you injure a member of my Thunderbolt Society? Does your society not want to continue existing?" Jiashan was frightened by her aura. At this moment, he really felt a chill from the bottom of his heart. "You're wrong. I'm not from their society," Sima Yue said. "I just happened to meet them. Originally, I didn't intend to interfere in the matters between your two societies. But who asked you to disgust me and even have designs on me? If you don't want to end up like him, hurry up and get lost." "Haha, how arrogant. My Thunderbolt Society has never been afraid of anyone. Since you're not from the society, it's even easier. How dare you hurt my people? Men, catch her and bring her back to the leader," Jiashan shouted. "Let's see who dares to move." Ma Bojian took a step forward and stood in front of Yue, blocking her. "Ma Bojian, do you want to go against us because of someone who's not from your society?" Jiashan questioned sternly. His people were crippled in front of him. If this were to spread out, how could he show his face? Hence, he didn't care about the matters between the two societies. In his eyes, he was determined to catch Sima Yue and report back. "Jiashan, if you want to catch her, you have to beat me up first." Ma Bojian took out his weapon and stood firmly in front of Yue. "You asked for it. Beat all of them down. It doesn't matter if they're crippled or crippled, as long as they can't stand up," Jiashan ordered. "It doesn't matter if they're crippled or crippled," Sima Yue repeated. Her voice made the people who were about to surround her subconsciously pause. She patted Ma Bojian's shoulder and said, "Brother Ma, keep your weapon. I'll handle this so that your society won't be implicated." "Yue, don't force yourself. They're all vicious people and there are so many of them. You're not their match," Shuirong said. "You two haven't recovered from your injuries yet. If you go over, you'll still be beaten up," Sima Yue said. "Since that's the case, watch how I beat people up here." After speaking, she rushed in front of those people and raised her fist to hit them. Close combat was her forte. Adding on her body that was comparable to a spirit beast, she was even stronger than Fatty Chu when it came to beating people up. She took care of one person with one punch. After a few hits, those people were all lying on the ground. Only Jiashan, who was at the back of the crowd, was left. Sima Yue stood in the middle of a group of people and looked at Jiashan. He was so scared that he fell to the ground. "You are, who are you?" Jiashan was so scared that he stuttered. It wasn't just him. Shu Yuan, and the rest were all staring at her in shock. Me? Why should I tell you who I am? What right do you have to know my name? Sima Yue kicked the person beside her and said, Today, I only broke your arms, legs and ribs. If you dare to find trouble with me again, I won't be as nice as today. Now scram. This time no one said anything. Those with broken arms helped those with broken legs up, and called out their spirit beasts one by one. They sat on them and quickly left the place. Sima Yue clapped her hands and turned around to look at the stunned people and said, You guys came with me today. Will it cause any trouble for your society? Ma Bojian was the first to react. He kept his weapon and said, Thunderbolt has always wanted to take over our society, but they've failed time and time again. We're now like fire and water with them. Even without you, they wouldn't give us any less trouble. But if it weren't for you, I'm afraid we would have been severely beaten up by them today. Thank you. Chapter 631. Ma Bojian said the longest thing he had said to Yue in the past few days. But Yue crippled that person. I heard that he is a student of Teacher Hong from the refining department. That teacher is very protective of his students. Will something happen to Yue? Shu Yuan said somewhat worriedly. What's there to be afraid of? Shuirong said nonchalantly. Is Teacher Hong as good as Teacher Su? Teacher Hong was protective of his students. But was Teacher Su the same? It seems that Teacher Su is the most protective teacher in the inner courtyard. That's true. Shu Yuan smiled and said. Teacher Hong is still not as good as Teacher Su. Yue, when the time comes, just push Teacher Su out. It will definitely be fine. Not bad. Maybe we can give it a try. It's his fault for leaving me here. Sima Yue did not comment on their suggestion. Let's talk about it later. Meanwhile, somewhere in the inner court, Su Jin's mouth twitched. Why did this guy cripple him? Looking at the way she acted, it was really neat. Hong Fa is it? Your student actually dared to touch my student. This debt is not easy to settle. He took a bite of the spirit fruit in his hand and said faintly. The courtyard door was opened and a tall and sturdy man walked in. He saw Su Jin lying on the chair and said, Master, didn't you say that little junior brother was coming? Why isn't he here yet? Xiao, why are you in such a hurry? That brat will naturally come when he should. Su Jin said. Do you miss him that much? Master, you asked me to arrange accommodation for her. You asked me to take care of her matters. Just wait, they'll be here soon. Su Jin said. I say, Master, you didn't throw her into the maze, did you? A lazy voice came from outside. Then a man in white walked in with half-closed eyes. The people in the courtyard didn't find it strange that he looked half asleep and half awake. It seemed that he had always been like this. Kong Junchul, what are you doing here instead of concocting pills and sleeping? Su Jin looked at his eldest disciple. Every time he saw him, he wanted to refine some kind of pill to ruin his face. However, he would spare him every time because he was slightly weaker than himself. I just finished refining pills and came out. I heard that you're back, so I came to see you. Kong Junchul touched his face and said lazily, but he emphasized the word, old man. I say, why are you all gathered here? Is that brat here? A woman in red walked in. Seeing that the three of them were here, she thought that the legendary junior brother had come. The girl in red seemed to be the most normal of the three. She looked normal, spoke normal, and walked normal. She really seemed normal. But what she said after that completely exposed her abnormality. He's not here? Seriously, you made me leave behind the delicious food and come here. I'm going back to continue. Han Miao Shuang, what else do you know besides eating? Su Jin looked at his second disciple with a headache. Why were all his students either fond of eating or sleeping? How could he be deceived by them in the first place? Master, besides eating, I also know how to refine pills. Don't you know? I'm so hungry. I'm going back. Han Miao Shuang looked at Su Jin as if he was an idiot and prepared to leave. Han Miao Shuang, besides refining pills, you only know how to eat. Why don't I see you as fat as a spirit pig? Kong Junchul still looked lazy. Kong Junchul, besides refining pills, you only know how to sleep. Why don't I see you as fat as a spirit pig? Han Miao Shuang replied and turned to leave. Oh right, inform me when junior brother arrives. I want to see what kind of person master has brought back this time. Don't worry. He's not like you guys. He's absolutely normal. Su Jin said. TSK, do you know how to deal with normal people? Han Miao Shuang obviously didn't believe him, and left the courtyard without looking back. Looking at the direction she went, needless to say, she was definitely going to look for food. I'm going back to sleep. Kong Junchul walked past Su Jin, and went upstairs. Only Xiao Xiao bowed respectfully and said, Master, I'm going to refine pills. Su Jin watched the three of them leave, and fiercely took a bite of the spirit fruit in his hand. These guys, I'll let you be lazy now. When Yu comes, let's see if you can still be so calm. Thinking of Yu, he thought of what she just did. He wasn't in the mood to eat the spirit fruit in his hand, and threw it behind him. In the end, he didn't hear the sound of it landing. Master, I just cleaned the courtyard. Xiao Xiao, who was about to leave, was standing not far behind him, holding the spirit fruit that Su Jin just threw out. Su Jin's head hurt from his sad little eyes. Xiao Xiao, you're an alchemist, not a cleaner. Su Jin said resentfully. I know. I didn't slack off when refining pills. I just used the time when senior brother and senior sister were eating and sleeping to clean. Xiao Xiao. Su Jin rubbed his brows and said. Hurry up and leave. My eyes hurt looking at you. Then junior brother? He'll be here by tomorrow at the latest. Then this disciple will go and prepare his house. Su Jin felt that he was wrong. How did he see these disciples in the first place? His heart was stifled. He should go and deal with the trouble that Yu caused today. Sima Yue arrived at Lulan Courtyard that night. It was the most unique courtyard in the inner courtyard. Yu, this is where Teacher Su and his students live. We can't enter this courtyard without permission, so we can only send you here. Xuerong said. Thank you. Sima Yue smiled at Xuerong. Xuerong and Ma Bo said goodbye and left. She stood alone in front of the courtyard and didn't casually enter. It wasn't that she didn't want to, but she saw traces of an array here. If she rashly went in, she was afraid that she would be trapped here. This place wasn't considered remote. Although it was already late at night, there were still some students coming and going. When they saw her standing in front, they sneered and walked away. Another person who wants to be under Teacher Su. This person looks like a new student. She doesn't even look at her own talent. She still wants to be in Teacher Su's good graces? The new students these days are getting more and more impulsive. They don't want to be down to earth and cultivate. They just want to be under these teachers. It's time to let those new students know the rules of the academy. Those people left as they discussed, but the sound of their discussion was still carried by the evening wind. Sima Yue didn't expect that she would attract such talk just by standing here. She felt that these people in the inner courtyard didn't all like to cultivate. There were still many people who liked to gossip and gossip. Just as she was hesitating whether to continue to stand here in the cold wind or risk entering the array, a swaying shadow appeared from behind. Chapter 632. Book title. Senior Sister Zhang and Senior Brother's hobbies are good. Special author Sima Yue looked at the shadow on the ground that was elongated by the moonlight. That crooked figure did not seem normal. Before she turned around, she could smell the scent of alcohol. Who are you? What are you doing standing here? A drunken question came from behind. Sima Yue turned around and saw a lady in a fiery red dress with a drunken look on her face. She was holding a jar of wine in her hand and looking at her with her head tilted. I'll look for Teacher Su. Ma Yue said. Looking for my master? Han Miao Shuang narrowed her eyes and looked at Sima Yue. Then she smiled and said with certainty, You're Sima Yue, right? Exactly. Yue greets senior. Sima Yue cupped her hands towards Han Miao Shuang. What senior sister? We call her senior sister here. Han Miao Shuang waved her hand and said, I was still asking them during the day when you would arrive. And you're already here at night. That's pretty fast. Come on, I'll take you inside. You have to follow me closely. Otherwise, I can't guarantee where you will appear. Sima Yue looked at the array with a trace of interest. She did not expect that this array not only had the function of a maze, it also had the function of a teleportation array. Yue will definitely follow senior sister. Didn't you say senior sister? Han Miaoshuang corrected again. Teacher Su is just my teacher, not my master. So you are her disciple, but not my senior sister. You can only be called a senior sister. He actually didn't accept you as a disciple? This time, it was Han Miaoshuang's turn to be surprised. This was not in line with his character. Senior, did you just come back from barbecued meat? Sima Yue smiled and changed the topic. How did you know? Han Miaoshuang's interest was piqued. Other than the smell of wine, there's also the smell of charcoal on you, Sima Yue explained. Are you familiar with these scents? Han Miaoshuang grabbed her hand. Seeing Sima Yue nod, she asked excitedly. Then you definitely know how to cook? A little. Sima Yue did not know why she was so excited. She pondered for a while and replied. Then what will you do? Barbecue? I know how to barbecue meat. Sima Yue said. It's not just barbecue, I can cook other dishes too. She didn't say that out loud, because she realized that Han Miaoshuang's expression was a little off. It was different from the average foodie. But what was wrong, she couldn't tell at the moment. Really? Thinking you cook for me? Han Miaoshuang said. As a new junior brother, it's only right for you to cook for your senior sister. And it's settled then. You go find master first, then I'll go find you. The two of them just happened to walk into the courtyard. Han Miaoshuang patted her shoulder and left, looking very excited. Sima Yue saw that she was so excited that she seemed to have sobered up. This person, does she like to eat that much? She muttered as she looked at her back. She likes to eat and refine pills equally. A man suddenly appeared beside Sima Yue, giving her a shock. Sima Yue looked at the man who was at least 2 meters tall who suddenly appeared, and was shocked. She asked subconsciously, who are you? Such a tall, strong and rough-looking man, compared to Su Jin. That pretty boy, they were two extremes, right? I'm Xiao Xiao Master's third disciple. I used to be the youngest, but now that you're here, you're the youngest. Xiao. Xiao Xiao Xiao. Sima Yue's mouth twitched. This time her whole body twitched. How could he say his name so naturally in such a state? Xiao Senior Xiao Xiao that is? She's called Han Miaoshuang, Master's second disciple. She came 10 years earlier than me. Xiao. Her biggest hobby is to eat. No matter when or where. As long as she's not refining pills, she'll definitely have food on her hands. So exaggerated? Sima Yue was shocked. This was already beyond the scope of a foodie? You said that you're the youngest, and she's the second disciple. Then what about the eldest disciple? Kang Junchul? He came out once you called him. Xiao. Before Sima Yue could react, Xiao Xiao had already shouted at the top of his lungs. Eldest senior brother, youngest junior brother is here. No one responded. Fire! Fire! Someone's going to be disfigured. Xiao Xiao shouted a few more times. Bang! A door on the second floor was violently opened. Kang Junchul walked to the balcony and shouted at Xiao Xiao in the courtyard. Su Xiao Xiao, why are you howling in the middle of the night? Do you not want to live anymore? You dare to disturb my sleep. I'll beat you to death. Eldest senior brother, you've already slept for a whole day. Su Xiao said. It's only been a day, and you've already woken me up? Since when have I only slept for a day? Kang Junchul was even angrier, and wanted to beat him up. Youngest junior brother is here. Su Xiao said. Kang Junchul then saw Sima Yue behind him. Sima Yue also saw the appearance of the senior brother. Under the moonlight, his face looked more delicate than a woman's. His loose nightgown was casually tied, and his long hair was casually tossed behind his head. His half-awake eyes were so charming under the moonlight. Nothing is more important than sleep. See you tomorrow, youngest junior brother. If you howl again, I'll throw you out. Kang Junchul threatened. You can't beat me. Su Xiao Xiao said honestly. Alchemy. Jiang Junjie tossed these two words and went back, leaving behind a confused Sima Yue and an unhappy Su Xiao Xiao. He asked you to make alchemy? Sima Yue asked. He said he doesn't want to fight with me. He wants to compete with me in alchemy. Su Xiao said. Does senior brother Jiang like to sleep? Sima Yue asked curiously. Other than alchemy, he sleeps all the time. Su Xiao said. And he hates it when people disturb his sleep. He has a bad temper when he wakes up. He actually likes to sleep so much. Sima Yue sighed. Yes, he likes to sleep just like how second senior sister likes to eat. He doesn't miss a single moment. Su Xiao said. Sima Yue looked at Su Xiao meaningfully and asked, what do you usually do? Previously, Shui Rong and the others said that Su Jin's disciples were very special. Now that she saw that one of them could eat, and the other could sleep, she was suddenly curious about what was so special about the guy beside her. Alchemy, Su Xiao replied. What else do you do besides alchemy? Clean the house, wash the clothes for the three of them, and clean the whole yard. Su Xiao picked out the better things to say. In this world, there were actually people who liked to do housework. Sima Yu looked at the spotless courtyard, and could only imagine how strong his obsessive-compulsive disorder must be to be able to do that. Ahem, senior brother and senior sister's interests and hobbies are very special. Where is teacher Su? She didn't see Su Jin and asked. Gentleman's alliance. Chapter 633. Master went out during the day. I don't know what he's doing. He told me to wait for you and take you to your room. Come with me, Xiao said. I've already tidied up your room. By the way, Master said that you were frightened today and asked you to have a good rest. He went to deal with it. Sima Yue paused. Did Su Jin already know what she had done today? And he even said that she was frightened? Was he sure he didn't say anything wrong? He must have known what he had done today. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said that he was going to deal with it. Since he knew, how could he say that he was frightened? This is your room. Xiao brought her to a small building at the side. She opened the door and said, the small building that we used to live in with the four of us is already full. This was used to store miscellaneous items. Now that I've tidied it up, it definitely looks like a bedroom. The bedding, tables, and chairs are all new. No one has used them before. Sima Yue walked in and saw that the house was neatly tidied up. Even she, who loved cleanliness, could not find a single flaw. Thank you, Senior Su. It's late. You should rest first. If there's anything else, we can talk about it tomorrow. Su Xiaowang turned and left. Sima Yue walked to the door and looked at the courtyard. There were a total of 4 small buildings. One was where Su Jin and the others lived. One was where she was currently living. And the other 2 were for unknown purposes. However, thinking about it, everyone who lived here were alchemists, so it should be related to alchemy. Other than that, there were some flower beds in the courtyard, and some of them were quite rare. There was also a large piece of land behind the courtyard, which should be used to grow medicinal herbs. Although Su Jin is a bit flashy, he looks normal. But these 3 disciples, why are they all? She shook her head and gently closed the door. At this time, Su Jin was in the inner court's director's office, and Hong Fa was with him. He casually leaned on the sofa in the office, and Hong Fa glared at him angrily. The office manager was a man with a mustache. Seeing the 2 of them like this, he rubbed his eyebrows. Su Jin, you connived at your student committing murder in the maze forest, and you actually still have such an indifferent appearance. Aren't you too condescending? Hong Fa shouted. It's okay for me to be arrogant, but it's wrong for your student to be arrogant. What the cause and effect of the matter has already been clarified. Your student was so vulgar to my student. What's wrong with my student teaching him a lesson? Su Jin flicked his fingernails and didn't put Hong Fa's anger in his eyes. Besides, didn't I fail to kill you? I'm still keeping him alive. Hong Fa only said one sentence, but he was choked by so many words. His expression became even uglier. Su Jin, your student did such a cruel thing, and you can still say it so casually. Wrong, I'm not calm, I'm very angry. Su Jin said seriously. Hong Fa coldly snorted. He thought that Su Jin was angering Sima Yue, but he almost vomited blood when he heard Su Jin's words. Speaking of which, that student of mine is really soft-hearted. If a man dares to say that to me, I definitely won't cut off the bottom but the neck. Who do you think you are? How dare you have such thoughts about me? I'll have to teach her to be more ruthless when it comes to such things. It's too shameful for us men. Su-jin scolded seriously. Su-jin, Hong Fa angrily roared. I'm not as old as you. My ears are still working. There's no need to shout so loudly. Su-jin picked his ears. Today's matter was originally your student's fault. He was crippled because his skills weren't as good as others. If I were you, I wouldn't be shouting here right now. I'd go back and guard your precious disciple, and see if I can reattach his thing. If it's treated early, maybe it can be reattached. As for whether it can still be used after it's reattached, it'll depend on your skills. Alright, if there's nothing else, I'm going back to sleep. Good night to the two of you. With that, he got up and walked outside, ignoring the two people inside. As long as the school didn't punish him, he didn't need to care about other things. Hong Fa saw that he really left, and turned to look at the director. Director, you have to make a decision for my student. That Sima Yue just came in, and something like this happened. In the future. The director raised his hand to interrupt him and helplessly said, Teacher Hong, today's matter has been investigated clearly. It was indeed your student who was in the wrong first. The inner court doesn't have any rules that forbid students from fighting. According to the school's rules, as long as no one dies, or their cultivation isn't crippled, they don't care. Your student didn't die or cripple her cultivation, so the school has no reason to punish her. Just like what Teacher Su said, there's no point in wasting time here. You might as well go back and watch your student. Hearing the director say this, Hong Fa knew that he couldn't get justice from the school, so he angrily left. This little thing is really something. He hasn't even entered the inner court and already caused such a thing. It seems like he's also a troublesome person. In the future, Su-jin will be busy. Master, you're rejoicing in other people's misfortune. A bird on the windowsill said. This Su-jin is too carefree. Don't you think it's a very happy thing that someone can take care of him? The director thought of Su-jin's future life, and smiled while shaking his mustache. Su-jin returned to his courtyard, and saw that the light in Sima Yue's room had been turned off. Although he wanted to rush in and scold her for doing a good job, he gave up after thinking about his beauty sleep. It was time to go to sleep. Although Sima Yue was lying in bed, she was awake. She knew when Su-jin came in, and felt that he stopped in the courtyard for a while. She thought that he was going to look for her, but he went back directly. The next morning, Su Xiaoxiao knocked on her door. Little junior brother, someone is looking for you. Su Xiaoxiao said outside. Sima Yue opened the door and saw Su Xiaoxiao's fierce appearance. After one night, she miraculously accepted the contrast between his name and appearance. Who is looking for me? She had just entered the inner court. Why was someone looking for her? They said it's your brother and friend. Su Xiaoxiao said. Sima Yue knew who it was as soon as she heard it. Thank you, Senior Su, for telling me. She came out and closed the door saying, Can I bring them in? Su Xiaoxiao hesitated and said, You have to ask the master. The three of us don't have many friends, so no one has come to look for us. We have never encountered such a thing before. I don't know if I can let them in. Then I'll ask the master. Sima Yue walked 2 steps and stopped. She turned back and asked, Which room does the master live in? Chapter 634. Junior brother, it's best that you don't disturb master. He has a bad temper when he wakes up. Su Xiaoxiao reminded her kindly. He has a bad temper when he wakes up? Sima Yue was speechless. Were they really spirit masters? Master said that it's the worst thing in the world to be woken up when you're having a good beauty sleep in the morning. That's why we don't wake him up in the morning. Su Xiaoxiao said seriously. Sima Yue's face darkened. This guy even knew about such advanced terms like beauty sleep? Alright then, I'll go and see my brothers first. I'll bring you out. Su Xiaoxiao knew that Sima Yue still didn't know the array outside, so he brought her out. I'll tell you the rules of the array first, in case you don't know how to get in. Thank you, Senior Su. Sima Yue said gratefully. Actually, she already knew how to get out of the array after following Han Miaoshuang once. But seeing how enthusiastic Su Xiaoxiao was, she felt that she shouldn't discourage him. So when Su Xiaoxiao told her the method, she responded enthusiastically. Although she tried her best to make it look like she didn't know how to get out of the array so quickly, she even asked 2 questions on purpose. But when she went out and said that she already knew how to get out, Su Xiaoxiao was surprised. 5th bro. Yu, Sima Yu Qi, Sima Yu Ming, Wei Ziqi and Bei Gongtang were outside the house. When they saw Sima Yue come out, they shouted at her. Eldest brother, second brother, why are you here? Sima Yue walked towards them and turned back to Su Xiaoxiao. Senior Su, you can go back first. Su Xiaoxiao glanced at Wei Ziqi and the others and said, come back after a chat. Master will definitely look for you when he wakes up. I got it. Thank you, Senior Su. Sima Yue nodded in reply, then turned around and walked towards Sima Yuming and the others. Yue, are you okay? Bei Gongtang pulled Sima Yue and asked. Very good. What's wrong? How did you know we were here so quickly? After confirming that she was really fine, the 4 of them breathed a sigh of relief and said, we heard about what happened between you and Ma Bojian last night. We also heard that you sent Teacher Hong's disciple flying. We were worried that something might have happened to you. This morning, when he heard that they had returned, he ran over to ask them about the details. They said you were here, so we came over. 5th brother, what's going on? How could you cripple that brat? I heard that Teacher Hong made a big fuss yesterday, saying that he wanted the sect to expel you. It was only after Teacher Su stepped in that the matter was suppressed. Sima Yuming asked. Sima Yue shrugged. That guy wants me to serve them. He wants me to follow them. If I serve them well, I can do whatever I want in the Thunderbolt Society. That son of a bitch, I'm going to kill him. Sima Yuming turned around to look for that person for revenge, but he was grabbed by Wei Ziqi. Don't be angry. I'm not the one who will suffer in the end. Sima Yue said with a smile. It's no wonder that the Thunderbolt Society has spread the word that they are irreconcilable with you. If any society dares to take you in, they will become enemies with them. Hong Fa's students are also clamoring to teach you a lesson. Bei Gongtang said worriedly. What's there to be afraid of? Whoever dares to provoke me, I'll kill them one by one. If a pair comes, I'll kill a pair. If a dozen comes, I'll kill a dozen. Sima Yue wasn't worried at all. In any case, she had so many old monsters by her side. Any one of them would be able to kill them all. It's good that you know what you're doing. Wei Ziqi said. The sect has its own rules. They won't dare to do it openly, but they're afraid that they'll do something to you. I'll take note. Sima Yue said, but she didn't take it to heart. Why are you the only ones here today? Where are the others? They've all gone into closed-door cultivation. Sima Yuqi said. We only came out yesterday. Fatty has caught the eye of his teacher and was taken to one side. He probably hasn't gotten the news yet. Ouyang has been in closed-door cultivation these 2 days to refine pills. Bei Gongtang said. Where did Fatty go? His teacher has a weird temper as well. He's the #1 armament teacher. He took a liking to him and insisted on taking him in as a disciple. You know, the treatment of a teacher's disciple is different from that of a student. He was forced to move to his master's courtyard. Wei Ziqi explained. That's not bad. This kid has finally met a talent scout. Sima Yue said happily. Fatty Chu's talent wasn't bad. He was very good at armament, but he had never received any formal guidance. Sima Yue initially wanted to help him find a teacher after they entered the Divine Devil Valley. She didn't expect that he would meet one himself. That kid was unwilling at first. He said that following a female master was useless. In the end, he was caught to watch her refine armaments. He eagerly went over. Wei Ziqi couldn't help but laugh when he thought of Fatty Chu's reaction. What about Little Two? Which teacher is he under now? Sima Yue asked. Little Two was different from them. He was sent to the inner sect in less than a year after entering the sect. She didn't know how he was doing now. Thinking about it, she hadn't seen him for more than 2 years. Wei Ziqi and the others shook their heads. This made her heart tighten. Did something happen to him? No, it's just that we have no news of him. Sima Yue said. No news of him? Didn't he come to the inner sect? He did come to the inner sect, but we asked many people. They don't know Little Tuesday. Only a lunatic said that he met little too, but there was no news of him. Sima Yue said. Furthermore, it was when he just entered the inner sect. Then how do you know that nothing happened to him? If nothing happened, why is there no news at all? Sima Yue didn't believe that lunatic. Yue, don't worry. Wei Ziqi comforted. The lunatic said that he met him in the principal's office. There was no news of him after that. He guessed that the sect sent him to a secret place to cultivate. You know that little two is different from us, so this possibility is high. Who is the lunatic? A guy in the top 20 of the billboard. Because he likes to find people to fight, and once he fights, he's like a lunatic. That's why everyone calls him lunatic. How do you know this kind of person? There was once when he fought with someone and was seriously injured. He happened to be here to buy some pills, so we asked him. Who would have thought that he would actually know? Bei Gongtang said. Someone in the top 10 of the billboard was seriously injured by someone. TSK. I'm really curious who beat him up. Sima Yue said while rubbing her chin. To be able to injure him so badly, it must be someone in the top 10. And those who are willing to fight with him are probably those ranked 6th to 10th. Why, are you interested in him? Wei Ziqi asked with raised eyebrows. Chapter 635. I have no interest in this kind of battle maniac. Sima Yue waved her hand. It was unlucky to be entangled with this kind of battle maniac. He would ask you to fight for no reason. Being with this kind of person was simply asking for a beating. She looked towards the courtyard and said, Let's go before teacher wakes up. We'll go to your place to take a look and familiarize ourselves with the roads. In case I can't find you in the future. All right. The place that Wei Ziqi and the others were staying in was one of those large dormitories, with over 10 people sharing a courtyard. Although each person had their own room, it was still far from Sima Yue's. Sima Yue saw 2 familiar faces when she walked in. Yin or Wuhen, you guys live here too? Sima Yue asked in surprise. Tuoba Yin Er had just returned from her closed-door cultivation in the cultivation pagoda. When she heard Sima Yue's voice, she turned around in astonishment. Yue? When did you come to the academy? Tuoba Yin Er was very happy to see Sima Yue and walked over. I arrived last night, Sima Yue said. I didn't expect you to be in the same courtyard as them. I thought you would be living with Han and the others. Us freshmen basically stay in these few courtyards. Since they are your brothers and friends, we can stay together, Tuoba Yin Er said. Yue, why are you? Feng Wuhan walked over and looked around. I'm here to see where my brother and the others are staying so that I can find the way. Sima Yue said. The Thunderbolt Society is looking for you. Why did you come out? Feng Wuhan said. You knew about it too? This is such a big matter. It won't take a day for it to spread throughout the entire academy. Moreover, the Thunderbolt Society has spread the word everywhere. Now, everyone wants to see what it's like when you go up against them, Feng Wuhan said. Pfft! Sima Yue burst into laughter. The leader of the Thunderbolt Society is either a fool, or he has a grudge against someone. Huh. Everyone was puzzled. Otherwise, why would they make the news of him being crippled known to everyone? Sima Yue said. It's embarrassing for any man to lose that thing, isn't it? But now everyone knows. If that regiment commander doesn't have any enmity with him, then he must be stupid. Poochie. With her explanation, everyone came to their senses and realized that it was indeed the case. Cough cough. Don't bother about whether they are stupid or not. There are many people in the Thunderbolt Society. If you go up against them, it won't be good for you. Feng Wuhan said. I'll be careful, Sima Yue replied. What are you guys talking about? Tuoba Yin Er was confused. She saw that everyone seemed to have understood, but it seemed that she was the only one who did not know. Hence, Feng Wuhan told her about how Sima Yue had crippled him. After hearing that, Tuoba Yin Er looked at Sima Yue with a strange expression. Then she couldn't help but laugh out loud. She even laughed until tears came out of her eyes. Yue, you're a man. Didn't you think of yourself when you did it? No. Sima Yue replied honestly. because she wasn't a man. Alright Yue, let's send you back. You're in the limelight now. It won't be good if the Thunderbolt Society sees you, Sima Yuming said. That's good too. Teacher should be up already, Sima Yue said. Yan Wu Hen, I'll come and chat with you guys when I'm free. Okay. Tuoba Yan and the others naturally knew where Su Jin's house was, so they didn't follow her. Bei Gongtang and the others followed her back. The journey wasn't far, and they were already very low-key. However, they were still discovered by the Thunderbolt Society. Brother Xian, that's her. She's Sima Yue. A man with a scar on his face walked over with a group of people. He pointed at Sima Yue and said hatefully. Then, a group of people quickly rushed over and surrounded them. When the passers-by saw the situation, they all stepped aside to watch the commotion. That's Sima Yue? She looks so young. Is it really her? Then who is she? Sima Yue. Who's Sima Yue? You don't even know Sima Yue? Why would I know? You don't know what happened yesterday. Yesterday? I was in seclusion yesterday. I just came out this morning. Did something happen yesterday? Yesterday, something big or small happened. Alright, don't keep me in suspense. Tell me quickly. Actually, it's nothing much. It's just that this Sima Yue crippled one of Hong Fa's students. What? She's too daring. Not only that, she beat up more than 10 people by herself. Really? That person obviously didn't believe it. How could one person beat up more than 10 people? Hey, you don't believe it. The Thunderbolt team has already spread the word that they're going to teach her a lesson. Just watch, there's going to be a good show today. Sima Yuming and the others didn't react to the commotion around them. They stood in front of Sima Yue, blocking the Thunderbolt team members. Leader Xiao, what are you trying to do? Sima Yuming asked coldly. Oh, you recognize me? Xiao Qi looked at Sima Yuming. It'll be easy if you recognize me. Hand over the person behind you, and I'll let you watch the commotion from the side for now. My younger brother has just entered the inner sect, and is not familiar with it. If he has done anything wrong, please forgive him, Leader Xiao. Sima Yuming stood where he was, refusing to budge. He's your younger brother? Xiao Qi pointed at Sima Yuming. Since he's your brother, then we'll tie him up and bring him back to the team. We'll bring the other 3 back as well. The ones with him are probably in the same group. After Xiao Qi spoke, the people beside him pounced on them. Before they even touched them, a shadow flashed by and they were all kicked. Sima Yue landed beside Sima Yuming and clapped her hands, saying, Can we hit people here? You can as long as you don't kill them, Wei Ziqi said. Okay. Sima Yue nodded seriously. If they didn't kill them, it would be easy to settle things with a bottom line. You've got guts. You actually dare to hit my Thunderbolt team members. Xiao Qi was so scared by Sima Yue that he subconsciously took a step back, mustering his courage to berate her. Sima Yue stepped on the back of a person who was lying on the ground. She looked at Xiao Qi saying, Leader Xiao, right? Are you blind? Or are you trying to bully everyone else? You were the one who brought people here to beat me up. Why is it that I'm the one with guts now? Don't tell me that if you're about to be beaten up, you'll stick your face over and ask for a few more punches? I'm not that stupid. Leader Xiao, do you want to have a taste of my fists? You. Xiao Qi saw Sima Yue's cold gaze, and the people who were wailing on the ground. He was already terrified. However, when he saw so many people watching the commotion, he couldn't bring himself to do it. Chapter 636. Captain Xiao, please go back and tell your superiors that I'm here to study, not to fight with you. If you don't disturb my studies, we'll be fine. If you insist on going against me, then I'll be happy to accompany you to the end. After Sima Yue finished speaking, she took Sima Yuming and the others and left. When the onlookers saw them walking over, they subconsciously made way for them. Sima Yue? Why do I feel like this name is a little familiar? Is the new student who applied for a year's leave before coming to school called Sima Yue? Yes, it seems to be her. She's actually a freshman? Heavens, how is this combat strength of a freshman? Not only is she a freshman, she's also an alchemist. How can an alchemist have such a strong combat strength? This person is too scary. It's better not to go against him in the future. Since she said so, the Thunderbolt Society will definitely find trouble with her. But she was also a tough nut to crack. Hee, I'm looking forward to what happens next. Although Xiaoqi wasn't beaten up, his expression was still very ugly. He was actually scared silly in front of so many people. How was he going to show his face in the academy in the future? Go. A bunch of useless things. He scolded the people on the ground and left angrily. Both sides had left, and those who had come to watch the show also dispersed. Not far away, two men, one in black and one in blue, were looking at the crooked backs of the Thunderbolt Society. The excitement on their faces had yet to subside. Bin, did you see that? That guy's fighting strength is really strong. The blue-clothed man, Tang Yan, excitedly grabbed the black-clothed man's arm. Bin pulled his hand out and said faintly, I saw him. He's a new student with decent power. Right? Tang Yan didn't mind being disdained and said with a grin, I really didn't expect to see such a cute freshman after coming out of seclusion this time. You're not even afraid of the Thunderbolt Society. TSK, I wonder if I should say that the younger generation will surpass us in time. It has nothing to do with you. Let's go. Bin turned and left. Tang Yan hurriedly chased after him. Do you think she will attend the next 3 meetings? Didn't you hear that he's an alchemist? If you want to participate, you should be participating in the alchemist competition. It'll be great if she participates in the Spirit Master competition. I really want to see how far she can go. Tang Yan said, Say, if she participates in the Spirit Master competition, how far can she go? Top 200. Bin thought of her clean and nimble movements and the strength of her body. He changed his words and said, Maybe you can enter the top 150. It's already amazing for a freshman to enter the top 150. Tang Yan also felt that Sima Yoyue's ability could reach that level. I wonder if Madman will come and fight her if he knows how strong she is. It's possible. However, it might suppress his strength. Bin felt that this was very likely. That Madman would want to fight anyone who was stronger than him. He would suppress those who were weaker than him to the same level. The last time he looked for you, who won? How could he possibly win against me? I gave him a good beating so that he wouldn't come looking for trouble with me every time. Tang Yan said with a headache. I'm wondering why he doesn't look for you guys. He's always harassing us. How do you know he didn't look for us? Bin asked back. He looked for you guys? Tang Yan's eyes widened. Why didn't we hear anything about it? A long time ago. Bin said. We agreed before the battle that the loser is not allowed to look for me for 100 years. The result was self-evident. Tang Yan looked at Bin's eyes that said, You're stupid, and felt that he was stupid. Why didn't they agree beforehand? If Madman comes again, they must agree before fighting. The two of them walked through the campus and attracted a lot of attention. Isn't that the 5th and 10th ranked Bin and Tang Yan? They actually came out. Heavens, it's really them. They're so handsome. Don't be love-struck. Don't provoke the top 20 people on the billboard. They're already far away. Let's go too. Sima Yue and Bei Gongtang had just walked to the entrance of Su Jin's courtyard when a red figure rushed out. Little junior brother, where did you run off to? I've been looking for you for a long time. Han Miaoshuang grabbed Sima Yue's hand and dragged her into the courtyard. Sima Yue only had time to wave at Bei Gongtang and the others. Senior sister Han. Why are you in such a hurry? What's the matter? They came to the courtyard and Han Miaoshuang finally let go of her. She rubbed her wrist. It was already red from her grabbing. I came back to look for you in the morning, but you weren't there. Han Miaoshuang said. Why are you looking for me? Sima Yue asked again. Second senior sister, I just cleaned the courtyard. Su Xiaoxiao's roar came from behind. Xiaoxiao, if you shout again, I'll throw you out. Su Jin's soft voice came from upstairs. Kong Junchul was even more direct. An unknown flying object flew out of his window and directly hit Su Xiaoxiao, who was in the courtyard. Su Xiaoxiao subconsciously dodged to the side. Sima Yue looked, and saw a pillow lying alone on the ground. Sima Yue looked at the courtyard that was in an uproar, and felt as if a crow flew past her head. She walked over and picked up the pillow. Holding it in her hand, she looked at the angry Su Xiaoxiao and asked, "Senior Su, what happened?" Su Xiaoxiao glared at Han Miaoshuang. His eyes looked as if he wanted to eat her up. Thinking of the two sleeping upstairs, he lowered his voice and complained, "I don't know where she went to hunt a spirit beast and threw it on the ground. The ground is covered in blood. Xiao, I couldn't find a place to put it." Han Miaoshuang saw that Su Xiaoxiao was angry and pursed her lips as she explained, "I think you found a place to throw it, and then ran to look for junior brother." Su Xiaoxiao didn't believe her and directly exposed her. "Isn't it just a little blood on the ground? Why are you so angry?" Han Miaoshuang was also angry. She put her hands on her hips and glared at Su Xiaoxiao. "I told you before, you're not allowed to put those half-dead things in the courtyard." Su Xiaoxiao didn't show any weakness. The two of them were about to quarrel. Sima Yue finally understood. Su Xiaoxiao rushed out last night to hunt a spirit beast. When he came back, he threw the spirit beast on the ground to look for her. In the end, the blood stained Su Xiaoxiao's floor. "Cough cough, do you want me to barbecue meat for you?" She saw that the two of them were getting angrier and angrier. Yes. Han Miaoshuang glared at Su Xiaoxiao again, and turned to look at Sima Yue with a smile. "Senior Su, go and give this to Senior Jiang. We'll clean up the backyard." She handed the pillow to Su Xiaoxiao. Chapter 637. Although Su Xiaoxiao was very unhappy, she still took the pillow and put it into the space ring. "Let's go. I'll go with you." After saying that, he turned and walked towards the backyard. Sima Yue looked at Han Miaoshuang's smirk and knew that she was deliberately quarreling with Su Xiaoxiao. She was sure that although Su Xiaoxiao was angry, she wouldn't really be angry with her. "Senior sister, let's go over as well." "Hee, let's go." Sima Yue could not help but shake her head. They came to the open space in the backyard and knew why Su Xiaoxiao was angry. A one-story tall horned cow was thrown on the ground. Blood flowed out from its body and not only dyed the ground red, the blood also flowed into the medicinal field next to it. "Little junior brother, what do you think of this horned cow? I specially chose one that wasn't very old, thinking that the meat would be more tender." Han Miaoshuang looked at the fork-horned cow with satisfaction, purposely ignoring Su Xiaoxiao's ashen face. The corner of Sima Yue's mouth twitched. "Senior, you're not asking me to roast this for you, are you?" "I want to, but if I really let you roast it, I won't be able to finish it." Han Miaoshuang said. "Which part do you want to roast?" "Actually, this roasted beef isn't that delicious. Why don't we boil it?" Sima Yue said casually. Looking at Han Miaoshuang's sparkling eyes, she regretted it so much that she wanted to bite off her own tongue. He clearly knew that she liked to eat, so why did he have to be so nosy? Wasn't that just asking for trouble? As expected. "Little junior brother, you know how to play with spirit beasts? How do we eat this?" Han Miaoshuang came over and almost hugged her and bit her. Yue wailed in her heart, but she still smiled and said, "It's just a pot of soup. Take the beef and boil it a few times before eating it." "Is that tasty?" Yu really wanted to say that it wasn't delicious, but seeing how excited Han Miaoshuang was, she nodded and said, "If the soup pot is cooked well, it will be delicious. If the soup isn't cooked properly, it won't taste good." "Then make me a soup pot. Let's boil the beef. Xiao, don't clean up. Eat with us later." Han Miaoshuang waved at Su Xiaoxiao. Su Xiaoxiao was very angry, so she decided to ignore her today. Therefore, she ignored her when she called her. Han Miaoshuang saw that Su Xiaoxiao was really angry and ran over to coax him. Sima Yue did as she said. Seeing that the courtyard was spacious and there was no kitchen in the entire courtyard, she took out pots, bowls, ladles, and basins and planned to cook here. Sima Yue's professional kitchen utensils made Han Miaoshuang even more excited. Looking at Sima Yue was like looking at a treasure. "Little junior brother, you're good at cooking, aren't you?" "Haha, one look at these things and I can tell that you cook often," Han Miaoshuang said confidently. I've been cooking less recently. Sima Yue did not answer her question directly. She hadn't done it that many times in the past 2 years. It seemed that she could count them on one hand. That's what you used to do, Han Miaoshuang said. Seeing her take out all kinds of seasonings in side dishes, she asked, "What are these for?" "To make a soup pot." Sima Yue quickly prepared those ingredients, and then fried them in the pot. After the fragrance burst out, she put the mushrooms in to cook. While cooking the soup, she came to the fork-horned cow and cut off a piece of meat. She washed it with water, and then cut it into thin slices and put it on a plate. Han Miaoshuang took a piece and looked at the almost transparent meat. She was so surprised that she couldn't speak. When Su Xiaoxiao started cooking from Sima Yue, his attention was attracted by her skillful movements and he unconsciously stopped what he was doing. "It smells so good." The fragrance of the soup pot floated out and attracted Han Miaoshuang's attention. She threw the meat slices in her hand and ran to the big pot. She opened the lid, and an even stronger fragrance spread out. The entire courtyard was filled with that fragrance. Next to the small courtyard was the building where Su Jin and the others lived. The two of them who were sleeping upstairs were awakened by the fragrance. They tossed and turned on the bed for a while. In the end, their appetite was aroused by the fragrance. They both got up from the bed and opened the window to look downstairs. At this moment, the three of them in the courtyard were eating happily in front of a small pot. Even Xiao Xiao put down his broom. This was something that had never been seen before. Sima Yue looked at the two of them eating happily and sighed in her heart. It was her first day in the academy. She didn't even see the teacher before she got into a fight with someone. Then she was caught to be a chef. "Xiao Xiao, are you done sweeping the courtyard?" Su Jin leaned on his window and looked at the three of them with a long face. "Master, I'll clean the courtyard later. I'll eat the dishes that junior brother made first." Su Xiaoxiao picked up a piece of beef and dipped it into the boiling pot a few times. He dipped it in Sima Yu's dipping sauce and ate it when it was still piping hot. He placed it in his mouth and blew twice. Han Miaoshuang didn't even raise her head. Her eyes and hands were wandering around. Su Jin looked at his two disciples. Before he could decide if he should go down and join them, Kong Junchul had already dragged his half-awake body down. "Give me a portion too." Kong Junchul lifted Su Xiaoxiao up and sat down. Su Xiaoxiao wasn't angry. He took out a chair and placed it at the side. He continued to fight with the food. Sima Yue took out a set of chopsticks and handed it to Kong Junchul. That guy looked at Su Xiaoxiao and the others' movements and knew how to eat. "Junior brother, after eating what you made, I know how bad the food I ate before was. Why didn't you come earlier?" Han Miaoshuang sighed. "Delicious. Delicious." Su Xiaoxiao agreed. "It's really good." Kong Junchul's eyes finally opened completely. He didn't look as sleepy as before. "You guys, why didn't you call me when you were eating?" Su Jin didn't pretend to be pretentious and ran down. "Teacher Su." Sima Yue stood up and gave her seat to him. The four of them were just right to sit at the same table. "Junior brother, cut another portion of beef for me." Han Miaoshuang shouted at Sima Yue. Sima Yue helplessly went to the side and cut another 2 portions of beef. Then she thought about it and took out some poultry and spirit beasts. She cut them into pieces and served them. Then she took out some vegetables from the spirit pagoda and cut them into pieces. Those guys finished 1 portion and then another. They originally wanted to make a simple soup pot to deal with Han Miaoshuang. In the end, it became a big meal for the 4 of them. The 4 of them ate from morning to afternoon. They stopped when they couldn't eat anymore. "Xiao Xiao, go and pack up." "Yue, come here." Su Jin saw Sima Yue packing up and waved his hand. Sima Yue was happy that someone was packing up. She put down her things and walked over. Su Jin held a toothpick in his mouth and said, "Did you cause trouble when you went out today?" Chapter 638. Sima Yue blinked. Wasn't this guy sleeping? How did he know that something had happened to him when he went out today? There's a group of students outside right now. This has never happened before. If they're not looking for you, then who are they looking for? Su Jin said. Sima Yue closed her eyes and sensed her surroundings. Indeed, there were many students gathered outside. Didn't you say that you've already settled the matter? Why are there still so many things? She had some doubts about Sujin's efficiency. Of course, I'm dealing with the teachers and the school for you. Otherwise, would you still be sitting here? That brat Hong Fa had already gotten rid of him. Sujin snorted. As for the students, of course you have to deal with them yourself. If I have to deal with everything, how will you grow? Go take care of those guys for me. If they want to defend, then so be it. Sima Yue refused to leave. She pulled out a chair and sat down beside him. Teacher, shouldn't you tell me how you plan to teach me as a teacher? The alchemy room is over there. If there's anything you don't understand, just ask me. Sujin pointed to a row of small rooms in the courtyard. No classes? There are no fixed classes in the inner courtyard. Everyone has their own classes, especially those spirit masters. Other than their dormitories, they have the cultivation pagoda. Us alchemists are more or less the same, but we have an additional pill room. If you want to go to the alchemy room to refine pills, that's fine too. Sujin had a do-as-you-please expression. Where is the elixir room? Sima Yue asked. People like you can refine pills in my small pill refining room, but if you don't have a teacher to guide you, you'll be accepted as a disciple. You can only go to the pill refining room to get in touch. However, when those alchemists have nothing to do, they will go to the pill room and answer questions for the students. Sujin said. Will you go? Of course I don't want to go. Sujin looked rather helpless. But that old guy wants me to go at least twice a week. Principal Yuan. That's him. Sujin sighed. Those people are really stupid. They're not like Xiao Xiao and the others, who can understand with just a little bit. Those students often have to explain things clearly to them. Every time, it wastes my time. But you still tell them in detail every time. Han Miaoshuang said as she nibbled on a spirit fruit. If I don't teach them well, that old guy wants me to be the dean. I don't want it. Sujin proudly said. Although I go there every week, it's still better than being the department head. Many alchemists with masters also practice in the alchemy room and discuss alchemy with other alchemists. Xiao Xiao said as she packed up. Sima Yue did not expect the inner yard to be so open. She thought that she would be locked in the classroom every day. Little junior brother, when are you going to make other food for us? How about we eat barbecued meat tonight? Han Miaoshuang came over and smiled flatteringly. It's already past noon, Sima Yue said. Also, I've said that I didn't become teacher's disciple. I'm not your junior brother. You can just call me Yue. She did not acknowledge Sujin as her master, so she was not their junior brother. Although she had Feng Zhixing and Old Man Devil as her masters, they were not in the same field, so it didn't matter. But Sujin was also an alchemist. Without Old Man Devil's permission, she could not acknowledge anyone else as her master. This was a form of respect for Old Man Devil. Su Xiaoxiao and Han Miaoshuang turned to look at Sujin. Sujin took out a sound stone and threw it to Sima Yue. Sima Yue picked it up doubtfully and inserted spirit energy into it. Good disciple. I know that you definitely won't acknowledge Sujin as your master. This guy still doesn't believe it. Old Man Devil's voice came from the sound stone. I'm very happy to have such a good disciple like you. But I'm always outside and haven't taught you much. Once alchemy breaks through the 6th grade and enters the 7th grade, it will be very difficult in the future. It's good to have someone by your side to teach you. And although this guy is a little worse than me in the past, he's still considered pretty good among the alchemists. So you should acknowledge him as your second master. Remember that he's your second master. Aya, you stop right there. Old Man Devil shouted from behind, and then there was no more sound. After Sima Yue finished listening to the recording, she got up and knelt down in front of Sujin. Disciple greets second master. Get up. Sujin was very dissatisfied with the way she addressed him as second master. But he had no choice. Old Man Devil had already taken the position of great master many years ago. Hee, I told you. You'll definitely be our little junior brother. Su Xiaoxiao smiled honestly. Sima Yue got up. Second master, why do you have master's message? I met him when I went out a while ago. Su Jin said. When? Where? How did you meet him? Sima Yue asked anxiously. Divine Devil Valley hadn't heard any news of Old Man Devil for a long time. How did Su Jin meet him? Inner region Hung residence. Su Jin didn't hide it. Master, I'll leave for a while. Sima Yue said and ran out. Kong Junchul was dozing off on the chair. When he saw Sima Yue running out in a hurry, his eyelids lifted slightly. Who's his master? I didn't expect him to have a master. How's his alchemy skills? Not worse than you guys. Su Jin said bluntly. Kong Junchul raised his eyebrows and opened his eyes completely. Those who were familiar with him knew what he was interested in. Master, are you kidding? Little junior brother is still so young. Han Miaoshuang didn't believe that Sima Yoyue's alchemy skills could be compared to theirs. I think he's very willing to discuss alchemy with you guys. Su Jin said. Little junior brother is only 20 or 30 years old. His alchemy skills are already on par with us? Su Xiaoxiao was so surprised that his hands stopped moving. Your talents used to be special. But after meeting him, you have no choice but to accept it. Su Jin said. If that's the case, we have to discuss it properly with little junior brother. Kong Junchul's eyelids were about to close again. How's your practice of the diverse refinement method? Su Jin asked. 8 types of normal herbs. 4 types of troublesome herbs. Kong Junchul replied. 6 types of normal herbs. 3 types of troublesome herbs. Han Miaoshuang said. Su Xiaoxiao touched the back of his head. I have the least. 6 types of normal herbs. Only 2 types of troublesome herbs. Then what's your shortest time to refine the green lotus pill? Su Jin asked again. 5 hours. Su Xiaoxiao was the first to answer. I'm about the same. Han Miaoshuang said. 4.5 hours. Kong Junchul said. Has he refined this pill before? Su Jin rolled his eyes at his 3 disciples and said. The 3 of you are either eating or sleeping. If not, you're cleaning in the courtyard. Don't you care about what's going on outside? The intersex assessment this time is to refine a green lotus pill. Master, don't keep us in suspense. Tell us quickly. What kind of results did little junior brother achieve? Han Miaoshuang urged. Chapter 639. She was late. When she arrived at the exam hall, there were only 3.5 hours left. Su Jin said. How is that possible? Han Miaoshuang cried out. Refining the green lotus pill in 3.5 hours? Master, are you sure you didn't get the time wrong? Am I such a carefree person? Su Jin glared at her and continued. She was able to refine the green lotus pill in such a short time because of her various refining methods. The most I've seen of her was that she threw in 10 types of medicinal herbs at once. 10 types. Han Miaoshuang and Su Xiaoxiao gasped. Kong Junchul's eyes lit up. Eldest senior brother can only refine 8 types of medicinal herbs at the same time. But she can actually refine 10. Could it be that her alchemy grade is higher than eldest senior brother's? Su Xiaoxiao exclaimed. That's not necessarily true. Su Jin said. There's no direct relationship between the various refining methods and grades. Junja has been practicing for so many years. His age is just a fraction of his. But even if I can't compare, I don't think I'm too far off. Look at you guys. Instead of practicing properly, you're either eating or sleeping all day long. Now you've been surpassed by others. I've decided. Han Miaoshuang stood up from the chair and startled Sima Yue, who had just walked into the courtyard. Senior sister, what have you decided? Sima Yue walked over and asked. I've decided. I want to see you refine pills. Han Miaoshuang placed her hands on her waist and said. Ah. Sima Yue looked at the others. Why did they look at her differently after she went out for a while? Han Miaoshuang walked over and hooked her arm around her neck, asking. Little junior brother, tell me honestly, what grade of pill are you refining now? Rank 7. What's wrong? Sima Yue looked at Han Miaoshuang in confusion. How old are you? Su Xiaoxiao asked. I'll be 30 soon. She rubbed her nose. 30 years old. On Earth, she would be considered an old leftover woman. But here in the thousands of years of life, She was just like a baby. Han Miao Shuang was so frustrated that she couldn't speak. She patted Sima Yu's shoulder and said, "When I was 30 years old, I just became a 5th-grade alchemist. At that time, I thought I was very powerful. But now it seems that I was too arrogant. Fortunately, you are my junior brother. Otherwise, I would want to slap you to death. Aya, I can't be reckless anymore. I have to practice properly. I'm really jealous of you." Senior sister. Sima Yue was speechless. Where was the jealousy in this guy's eyes? I've decided. Han Miao Shuang let go of Sima Yue and said, "I'm not eating tonight, I'm going to refine pills." After saying that, she really left and walked towards the alchemy room. "I'm going too." Kong Junchul felt threatened for the first time. In Han Miao Shuang's words, fortunately, he was his junior brother. Otherwise, he might really want to slap her to death. "Master, the courtyard is ready. I'm going to refine pills too." After Su Xiao finished packing, he bowed to Su Jin and left. Sima Yue saw that the courtyard was suddenly empty. She didn't expect that her appearance would stimulate them to refine pills. She looked at Su Jin. He must have told them about her. That's why they were like this. "You informed Divine Devil Valley?" Su Jin automatically blocked her suspicious gaze. Senior uncle has been worried about Master's whereabouts. But he couldn't contact him. Why did Master go to the inner regions? Something happened, he went to settle it. Su Jin obviously didn't want to say more about this. "Oh, if there's nothing else, I'll go back to my room," Sima Yue said. "How can there be nothing?" Su Jin stood up from the chair, stretched his waist and said, "Let's go. I'll take you to see the director. You took such a long leave and only came back now. Naturally, you have to see him. I'll take you to walk around the academy while I'm at it." Sima Yue followed Su Jin out. Those people outside didn't dare to go forward when they saw her. This Su Jin was the most difficult and special teacher in the inner sect. He and Hong Fa were known as the two freaks of the inner sect. No one should provoke them. Sima Yue looked at those people and sighed in her heart. Then she swaggered away. Su Jin took her directly to the director's office. When the director saw her, his eyes flashed. Then he smiled and threw a box to Su Jin. Su Jin took it and passed it to her. She opened the lid and saw a thin book inside. There was also a token and a rare spirit stone. The spirit stone is your cultivation resource, and the token is your identity. As for that book, you should study it properly when you go back, the director said. Sima Yue took out the book and flipped to the title page. When she saw the words on it, her mouth couldn't help but twitch. Intersect rules. This everyone has a copy? She waved the book in her hand and asked. No, only a few students have it, the director said. At the same time, he added a sentence in his heart. Only those students who like to cause trouble have it. And Sima Yue had already been placed in the group of students who liked to cause trouble. Sima Yue also guessed it, and rolled her eyes in her heart. He was clearly innocent. The matter was instigated by the Thunderbolt Club. Although that person was crippled, he asked for it. How did he become a problematic student? Old Mao, you just gave Yue a spirit stone and sent her away? What about those things? Su Jin directly stretched out his hand towards Mao Sanquan. Nothing. Mao Sanquan waved his hand at Su Jin. You know that those things can only be used when a new student enters. She missed the opportunity, and those things have already been sealed. Even if it's sealed, it can still be opened. Su Jin didn't agree. But that blood pool is useless to her. Why do you have to violate the school rules? Mao Sanquan said. As for the spirit pagoda, you know that it has already been used up by the new students. Su Jin looked at Sima Yue. He could also see that Sima Yue's body was stronger than the average person. He guessed that the blood pool really was useless to her. As the most outstanding student in the school, shouldn't the school show some appreciation when she enters the school? Those people soaked in the blood pool and went into seclusion in the cultivation pagoda. They can't not give her anything, right? Su Jin acted shamelessly. Even if the blood pool is useless to her, it's always good to soak in it. Don't you think so, old Mao? Didn't we give her the spirit stone? Mao Sanquan glared at him. Just one spirit stone. Tell me, do you like it or not? Sujin's student. Do you think she lacks spirit stones? If you want to give her something, give her a better one. Sujin walked to Mao Sanquan's desk and sat down. He didn't have the image of a teacher at all. He looked no different from a hoodlum. Chapter 640. Mao Sanquan, on the other hand, was used to his behavior. Seeing his half-smile, he took out a small box from his space ring and threw it to Sima Yue. This is my personal compensation to you. Sima Yue opened the box and saw a blood-red spirit stone inside. Judging by its color, she could tell that it was very valuable. If she were to absorb the spiritual power contained within it, she was afraid that the effect would not be any worse than if she were to cultivate in the cultivation pagoda for a month. Sujin glanced at the spirit stones. Seeing that they weren't bad, he smiled and said, "Old Mao, you really have a lot of good things. Yue, since Director Mao gave it to you, you should keep it." Yes. Sima Yue put away all the things she had just received and said to Mao Sanquan, "Thank you, Director Mao. Cultivate well. In the future, this world will belong to you youngsters." Mao Sanquan lectured. "I'm from the student union," Sima Yue said respectfully. "All right, if there's nothing else, quickly disappear from my sight." Mao Sanquan urged Sujin. "Director Mao, I have something to ask you," Sima Yue said. Mao Sanquan was a little surprised, but he still smiled and said, "Ask me, what is it?" "It's like this. I have a younger brother who entered the inner courtyard more than a year ago. However, my elder brother said that there was no news about him. So I wanted to inquire about his whereabouts." Sima Yue said. "What's his name?" Mao Sanquan asked. "Little Tuesday." "Little Tuesday?" Mao Sanquan's eyes flashed with surprise. "He's your younger brother." "He's not my biological brother, but he's been living with us ever since we saved him from the bad guys a few years ago. We all treat him as our brother," Sima Yue said. "He's not in the academy right now," Mao Sanquan said. "Don't ask me where he is, I don't know either. This matter is being handled by Vice Principal Fan." "What's wrong with Little Two?" Sima Yue asked worriedly. "Don't worry, he should be fine," Mao Sanquan said. "Director Mao, what happened to Little Two? When he was cultivating in the blood pool, I don't know why, but the spirit beast bloodline in his body completely awakened, and his body was unable to withstand the power of the bloodline." Mao Sanquan explained. "So when he left, it was very dangerous. I don't know what's going on now. Previously, the vice principal had already sent back news that his condition had stabilized. However, there has been no news for the past year," Mao Sanquan replied. "No news is good news," Sujin said. "I've seen that little fellow of yours. His body is still okay, so he shouldn't die that easily." Sima Yu's heart was choked by his straightforward words, but she subconsciously believed his words. "All right, let's go. Don't disturb old Mao here." Sujin got down from Mao Sanquan's desk and turned to leave. "All right, Principal Yuan will be back in a few months." Mao Sanquan's voice made Sujin stop in his tracks. He shrugged and said, "He's finally coming back after being gone for so long. What's wrong with his head?" Mao Sanquan glanced at Sima Yue without a trace. Then his gaze landed in the distance. He faintly said, "Something happened that he had to come back to deal with, so he had to come back. In short, you have to work hard. Don't let him deal with you as soon as he comes back." I know. If there's nothing else, let's go." Sujin impatiently waved his hand, as if he wasn't happy about the news of Principal Yuan's return. Sima Yue followed him out. Seeing his dejected look, she couldn't help but ask, "You don't have a good relationship with Principal Yuan?" Sujin shook his head. If they didn't have a good relationship, he would have left long ago. Why would he stay here for so many years, just because he promised him? "You have a good relationship with Principal Yuan?" she asked again. Sujin nodded, then shook his head. Then he looked at the sky at a 45-degree angle and sighed sadly. He originally said that he would bring Sima Yue around, but now he wasn't in the mood. He brought her back to the courtyard and told her to do whatever she wanted. Then he went back to his room, leaving her confused. "Little junior brother, it's good that you're back." Let's discuss the problem of alchemy. Han Miaoshuang came out of the alchemy room and saw Sima Yue standing in the courtyard. She waved at her. Sima Yue walked over and said, "Second senior sister, aren't you refining pills?" "Yeah, I refined one furnace and failed, so I didn't continue." Han Miaoshuang said, "Why are you standing in the courtyard like a fool?" "Second senior sister, I want to ask you something." "Alright, go ahead." "How's the relationship between Master and Principal Yuan?" "Very good." Han Miaoshuang nodded. Then why did his mood change so drastically when he heard that Principal Yuan was coming back? The sunny day suddenly turned into a rainy day. He was so depressed. He said that he would bring me to transfer schools, but he didn't go in the end. He brought me back. Sima Yue said, "When is Principal Yuan coming back?" Han Miaoshuang blinked her eyes and asked curiously. Instructor Mao didn't say. Sima Yue said, "No, second senior sister. This isn't the main point. The main point is why did Master become like this when he heard that Principal Yuan was coming back? About that, don't bother about him. He's conflicted. It'll be fine once he's conflicted." Han Miaoshuang said, "Come and see for me. Why do my pills always fail at this step? What's Master conflicted about?" Sima Yue didn't understand. Every time Principal Yuan was coming back, Master would be happier. But Principal Yuan would always bring him out to teach him a lesson. Then he would catch him for his bad work and tell him not to be arrogant. He shouldn't ignore the students. He shouldn't always quarrel with the students' teachers. So every time he hears that Principal Yuan was coming back, he's always like this. He wants him to come back, but doesn't want him to come back. Just pretend that you didn't see it. Han Miaoshuang picked up the herbs and said casually. Sima Yue pursed her lips. She was worried about him just now. It turned out that he was conflicted about this. That's why he was so depressed. Thinking about Little too, she started to worry again. She didn't know how he was doing now. "Little junior brother, don't think about it. Come and see where I went wrong." Han Miaoshuang saw that Sima Yue was still in a daze and urged her. "Oh." Sima Yue walked over and leaned towards her pill furnace. She put her nose to the side of the pill furnace and sniffed carefully. She asked curiously, "Second senior sister, do you refine pills like this every time?" "Yeah, why?" Han Miaoshuang nodded. "I'm really curious. How did you survive until now?" You're tuning in to the Journey of the Soul YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.